dedicated Rockingham Speedway fan since 2002, Derek Winter.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets circulated, the bombs bursting, and grew through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free? And
Let's hear it for Derek Winter and his amazing.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this afternoon's Fast Friday edition of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series return to the Rockingham Raceway here in southern North Carolina for today's event. And not only just a race here today, but a Truck Series race with new asphalt at a new track for them, at least within the last decade plus. Early Friday stream, earliest truck start time so far this season, and we will be having more of these 5 p.m. start slots as we get into the summer months for the Truck Series. So for all that great action and more throughout the course of the season, be sure to tune in every weekend for our live commentary NASCAR streams. Cup Series is off this week. It is time for the NASCAR Truck and Xfinity Series to have their first standalone event of the year. And in this race, it should be an interesting one to say the least. An intermediate track, which we haven't seen a lot of cautions in the Truck Series on intermediate tracks so far this season. But with a new racetrack, it leads a lot to be questioned for as to how the race pace of this one will actually go here today. This is going to be one of the longer Truck Series races of the season. Usually for these intermediate tracks, we would see anywhere in the ballpark of 134, 167 laps in that 200 to 250 mile range. This race, though, here today, 200 laps, about the length of an Xfinity Series race. And tomorrow's Xfinity race is going to be a little longer than we'd usually see most Xfinity races. And I think a lot of that has to do with it being a standalone weekend for both of these series. To say the least, practice and qualifying went on earlier this afternoon. I was unable to see that. I was actually at work throughout most of the day, but here early enough to get the start of this live commentary stream going. We'll go through the starting lineup and greet your guys' field for today's race. We'll go over the point standings coming into this one, and then by that time the race should begin, as you just heard the national anthem wrap up. Jake Garcia is on the pole to start this race off, and as you see scrolling towards the top of the screen, he's actually in the top 5 and top 10 finishes so far in the Craftsman Truck Series this season, and now he's got his first pole to boot. Chandler Smith, who was the most recent winner in the series, winning at Bristol just a week ago, trying to go back-to-back here today and get his first intermediate track win of the season. Our two-time Truck Series champion Ben Rhodes will start inside of row 2, still looking for his first win of the year, and Connor Mosak, who has yielded himself to the front of the field. Just as we've seen several times this season in qualifying, can he get a solid finish this go-around, though, in the 81? In row number 3 will be Lane Riggs and Bailey Curry. Lane Riggs with no wins so far this season. He's barely in the top 10 of the point standings, but he has had good finishes as of late. And we'll see what he can fare here today. He's not typically qualifying great, but running good in the races. This week he qualified good, so we'll see if he can keep that truck up there towards not only the beginning of the race, but the end as well. Caden Honeycutt with Gio Ruggiero will line up in row number 4. Honeycutt just outside the top 10 in points saved for Ruggiero as they come into this race. Only the top 10 make the Truck Series playoffs at the end of the regular season. Remember, this Truck Series season 18, which is actually 2 more than we usually see when what would be 16 races, but 2 more races have been added to the Truck Series this year since the playoff format was introduced back in 2017. But needless to say, they're both outside the top 10 at points, so they definitely need a strong performance. Starting up front is going to be good to try to get those stage points early on. In row number 5 is going to be Ty Majeski and Tanner Gray. Also, both of those drivers in search for their first wins of the season. Majeski winless on the year, and Tanner Gray, still searching for career win number 1. Sammy Smith will be making his first truck start of the season in the 07 for Spire Motorsports. Of course, we see him most of the time full-time in the Xfinity Series. For Junior Motorsports, he's pulling double duty this weekend at the Rock. Luke Fenhaus, who we've seen several times in the 66 truck for Thorsport Racing, will start also in the top dozen in row 6. In row 7 will be Matt Mills and Andres Perez. In row number 8 will be Corey Heim, who's the favorite for this race. My personal race win pick. He has been so dominant on the mile-and-a-half tracks. This racetrack, although it's just shorter than a mile and a half, I'm sure that experience will settle in. And although it's his 3rd season full-time in the Truck Series, it's going to be a very, very fun watch to see him come from the middle of the pack. And we'll see if he can dominate as he's done a couple of times already this year as well. Tyler Ankrum, as I mentioned already, also starting alongside Corey Heim in row number 8. Behind them in row number 9 will be Daniel Hemrick, who's a one-time winner this season, and Corey Day making yet another truck start for Spire Motorsports in the number 7. Grant Enfinger, Stuart Friesen will make up the top half of the field in row number 10. Row 11 for Raja Kruth and Parker Kligerman going to be running the 75 truck for the 3rd time this season. Matt Craft and Jack Wood will line up in row 12. Dawson Sutton, Timmy Hill in row 13. Tony Breidinger, Nathan Bird in row 14. Brandon Jones is making his 2nd truck start of the season on the inside of row 15 with Frankie Muniz, rookie, to his outside. Spencer Boyd, Justin Carroll in row 16. Stefan Malozzi and Norm Benning in row 17. And then rounding out the field in row 18 will be Cody Dennison making his first truck start of the season in the number 22. So that is our full Truck Series field. Again, 45 laps in stages 1 and 2. Stage 3 will be 110 laps. So they won't have to pit for fuel or tires in stage 1 or stage 2 per usual in the Truck Series with how short these races are, even though this one's a little longer than usual. But stage 3, there definitely will be at least 1 pit stop needed, even if we don't see a lot of cautions. Big grandstands. That is obviously at Rockingham, used to hold NASCAR Cup Series races for a long time throughout NASCAR's history. It's been a long time since we've seen any of the top 3 Premier Series race here, but a lot of butts in those seats here on this early Friday start, might I add. Again, a 5 p.m. start, local time. Obviously, 5 p.m. where I live as well here on the east. That's very early. You got people usually just getting off of work at this time of the day, this day of the week. So cool to see a very, very good crowd on hand. I would imagine that it's going to be next to sold out, if not already sold out, for tomorrow's Xfinity race as well. Christopher West, Jackson Robinson, Michael Turner, Earl Arnold Jr., Tweety Bird 4848, Bobby Kilmus, Bam Hall. Welcome to the stream, everybody. Try to get the shout-outs when I can. No lights at Rockingham. I honestly didn't know that. I don't think, yeah, they didn't have night races back in the day here. And obviously NASCAR hasn't ran here in a while. Yeah, it is a later start, but they'll get the race done in plenty of time. I would imagine sunset's pretty close to what it is where I live, which is about 8:30, maybe just after 8:30. So I mean, three hours for a truck race, that's just not going to happen. It's not going to go that long. It is sold out tomorrow. Awesome. Thanks for tuning in, Wade. Our childhood is back. Yes, it is. And the trucks did run here in the early 2010s. I do believe Kyle Larson was the most recent winner at Rockingham in the Truck Series. Although we have not seen the Xfinity Series here in over 20 years. I don't believe they've ran here since 2004, which was the last time the Cup Series had ran here. They plan to add lights. Well, if they're going to get a Cup date, they probably will. I'm sure that's definitely the test for this weekend. See how this goes with the truck and the Xfinity Series at Rockingham, and we'll see if we end up getting a Cup race here down the line. Again, this track has been freshly repaved since the last time the Truck Series was here, again in the early 2010s. And they ran a couple of races at Rockingham. Sunset is at 7:54. Is it that early? Let me check. Because I know it's 8:30 here. I wouldn't have imagined it was in the same time zone. I would expect it to be pretty close. I mean, they'll still get the race in plenty of time. I mean, that's still just over 2.5 hours. Truck races usually don't go that long. I mean, to put in perspective, the Bristol NASCAR Cup race, 500 laps last week, was 2 hours and 38 minutes, I believe. It was barely over 2.5 hours. So the truck race is definitely not going to be anywhere close to that long. Okay, let's see here. Rockingham, North Carolina. Yeah, 7:54. If 7:54 is sundown, usually you got a good 20 minutes, 15 minutes or so after sundown of there being light. At least bright enough. I don't know that they would go exactly 15 to 20 minutes after the fact. No rain in the forecast, so that's huge. I'm doing good. Hopefully you guys are as well. I'm curious to see how many people are going to tune into the stream knowing that this is an early stream. You'll have to comment if you're watching in or listening maybe from your workplace, getting off. For those of you young enough that might be in school still. I mean, I would expect you'd probably be home now if you had school earlier, but maybe you're in athletics. Just get home from baseball practice or such. All right. NASCAR have a timer like F1? I'm not sure. I don't watch F1, so I really don't know what you mean by that. Are you talking for like sunset specifically if they were to run to darkness, or because I know they have used a timer for that when needed. And I'm sure it was addressed in the drivers' meeting that they would have a specific end time in place. They've been doing that the last 2 seasons specifically for NASCAR. We've seen that with several Cup races already, where they would just basically have a time frame where, hey, we're going to drop the white flag this minute, this hour, whether we're already there or not, and the next flag's going to end the race. Rhode Island Mapping, welcome to the stream. Kyle Larson won the last truck race at Rockingham. Yep, we did mention that just seconds ago. If you're just tuning in, probably missed that, but thank you for watching. Yeah, no trivia this week. We usually do trivia for the Cup Series races, and this is the only Cup Series off week this season. So if you are new to the channel and wondering what the heck this is, this is what we call here on KRC, Keegan's Racing Channel, which is what I emphasize this channel to be. But anyway, live commentary streams every NASCAR race weekend, truck, Xfinity, Cup races, Cup practice, qualifying, all right here. Oddly enough, I say all Cup, Xfinity, and truck races. I actually will be at Talladega next weekend for the Cup race specifically. We will still have live commentary all day Saturday with Cup qualifying in the morning, ARCA race in the afternoon, Xfinity race in the afternoon. We'll have all that for you guys on Saturday, but Friday will be Sunday I will be at the Cup race. I'm messing up. Geez, I don't know what's going on here. I can't be that tired. I had a coffee in me right as soon as the workday was over to get me prepped and ready to go for the stream. I'll pick it up into high gear here pretty quickly. Just waiting for the race to get underway. And there will be no more mishaps. I can promise you. No, so the plan is for me to do the live commentary at my home all day Saturday, and then as soon as that Xfinity Series race is over, if I have to upload anything from the stream, I'll do that real quick. As soon as that's uploaded onto the YouTube channel, if needed, I'm booting it. I got a 10-hour commute. It might not be until later in the evening before I leave. I'll have everything packed well in advance for that. I'll be off of work on Thursday because I'm going to a concert on Friday night. So I'll have all day Thursday to pack, and I'll work Friday and be here with you guys for triple duty on Saturday. But yeah, I'm not going to get there to super early in the morning, but committing to the live commentary schedule and trying to get as much of that in as I possibly can. And as for the cup race, with me being there in person, it'll be race highlights from the grandstand. Any race I go to throughout the course of the season, there will be a compilation video of the highlights from that said race. Usually just the cup races I go to through the weekend, more often than not. But if I'm there all weekend, you'll get highlights from Xfinity or Truck Series races as well. But yeah, 15, 20, 25 minutes, just depends on what all happens during the course of the race. I feel like uploading that I catch on camera, but it's a good chunk. Try to get a full length race of highlights instead of just like 10 minutes or so. It's from the grandstand seating to help give you guys a point of view of exactly what it's like to have an at-track NASCAR experience. All right, roughly 1 mile racetrack. Degrees of banking different on both ends. 22 degrees in turns 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 25 degrees. I never knew that. As I mentioned already, though, 45 laps in stages 1 and 2, 110 in stage 3. Pit road speed 35 miles per hour. Fuel window 80 to 85 laps. So again, they will have to pit at some point during stage 3 for fuel and probably tire purposes. Pace truck already down on pit road. Our pole sitter Jake Garcia outside row 1 will lead the field to the green, and our first of 2 races at Rockingham is underway here this weekend. Side-by-side battling for the lead on lap 1. Off the exit of turn 2, down the back straightaway, Jake Garcia clear. Chandler Smith, who was on the inside of row 1 for the initial start, pulls right behind Garcia, middle of the back straightaway. And by the exit of turn 4, charges right back to the inside of Garcia again. At the start-finish line, it looks like Garcia by inches leads that last lap. So lap 1 is led by our pole sitter as they still battle side-by-side through turns 1 and 2. Chandler Smith is putting up a fight here in the early laps. Garcia closes them off with a big block, and now we got a couple trucks up against the wall. Both of them were running up inside the top 10. Connor Mosack in the 81's around. There was somebody else that had gotten squeezed against the wall with him. And a 2-truck incident appears on lap 2, turn 3, very early in the going. And the 44 of Bailey Curry was the other truck involved. So lap 3, turn 2. Bailey Curry, Connor Mosack, who both qualified up inside the top 10. I believe they actually both started in row 3. No. We could check here. They were both in the top 10, though. I believe Bailey Curry started 6th. That I do know. Mosack was right around there. Mosack started 4th. And Curry started 6th. Tyler Ankrum got a bit out of shape as well on the opening lap getting into turn 1. Hard to tell if he clipped the apron getting into the corner or if he got touched from behind slightly. It's actually turn 4. Where Ankrum had his slide. But that was on the opening lap, and then the next time down there was wrecking going on in front of him. Looked like he might have just overdrove the corner. Obviously, in practice, you're not racing around a pack like you would be on a restart, so this is all new territory for all these drivers around this racetrack today. Not a new racetrack because NASCAR has raced here in all 3 series before, but it's been so long that there's very few drivers who would have been in the last truck race field here, again, over 10 years ago. And the 2 drivers involved definitely making their first Rockingham start again. Bailey Curry in the 44, who was dropped to 11th, but has not made his way to pit road yet. And Connor Mosack, who went for a complete spin, but was able to save his truck from hitting the inside retaining wall. And has dropped all the way to the rear of the field. Both trucks on the lead lap for the time being. No major damage. They will both be able to continue. But again, caution very early on the second lap of our Truck Series race here today at Rockingham. Title sponsor for the race, the Black's Tire 200. For anybody wondering. Sat towards turn 4, Talladega last year. Yeah, I usually try to get as close to the start-finish line as I can, especially for Dega. I pretty much sat in the same vicinity all 4 times I've gone. The very first time I went, I was in the lower bowl, and then I've been in the upper deck the last 3 times I've been there. I wasn't there last year, so it broke my streak of 4 years in a row, but it'll be my 5th trip to Talladega next week. And I think it'll be only the first time I've seen just the Cup. Well, no, second time I've seen only the Cup race. Because when I went there in 2020, they were only allowing a crowd for the Cup races specifically when I went that time. Only X amount of people were able to go for the attendance reasons. XX Larry, are you referring the Talladega, what was that, the overtime race back in, was that 2015? Playoff race that year when they wrecked coming to the start-finish line and they deemed it wasn't an official restart, so then they had another restart and they wrecked immediately after the fact again anyway. Is that the race I'm thinking of? F1 has a 3-hour timer for the races because of TV blocks. Well, that's dumb. Yeah. Well, I'm glad NASCAR doesn't have that. At least we can see the finish of our races most of the time, weather pending, of course. No weather in the forecast today that's going to inclement us not getting to the finish of this one, so that's good. All right, I've had a couple lags here, so I'm going to try to fast forward. One of them was right during the middle of the national anthem, which I apologize for that. I don't even know if anybody caught it or not, but it did pause out for a couple seconds right in the middle of it. All right, back to racing. Green flag's back in the air, and as we had on the initial start, same thing for this restart with the 13 and 38 on the front row, the 13 truck being the control truck. Chandler Smith was close to clearing on the bottom through turns 1 and 2, and as they get the speed down the back straightaway, Jake Garcia not quite able to pull clear into the entry of turn 3. It really seems like the 38 of Chandler Smith's truck is just able to roll the bottom of the racetrack through the middle of the corner especially and beat the 13 back to the gas. So where he got underneath him the last time, just ran out of time to make the pass with the early caution. We'll see if he can make a pass this go around. Lane Riggs, his teammate in the 34, sits just behind him in 3rd. And then a big gap back to the 4th place truck who has a problem. Ben Rhodes in 4th, might have scraped the wall off turn 2. He's got some smoke coming out of the back of the truck. Actually, it looks like it is coming towards that right front. It's a big tire rub. And I do think he got against the wall because he was very low middle of the back straightaway with nobody really trying to make an attempt at passing him for position. Corey Heim, who qualified in the middle of the pack, is already up inside the top 10 just with a couple of green flag laps into this race. Up to 9th, Sammy Smith, who had started around there, is just inside the top 10 of the 07 as well. Big loose moment on turn 4 now for the 15 of Tanner Gray. He might have gotten either air loose from the 98 of Majeski or he got clipped slightly in that left rear. Ben Rhodes is still dropping like a rock with the issue to the right front. And he's probably going to have to come to pit road before that tire comes apart. Because the damage is definitely affecting the handling of his race truck, you'd have to imagine. Considering he just dropped 3 positions in 1 lap just like that. But these guys are slipping and sliding around. It's a very warm surface today. Just over 80 degrees ambient temperature. Track temp over 100. It's what we like in our NASCAR. We like our day races hot and slick. And that's exactly what this is, especially with the fresh asphalt. And the mid-corner speeds at an all-time high compared to what we've seen really ever in the Truck Series at Rockingham. Because that old surface back in the late 90s, early 2000s they would have raced on was old. And that was the same surface they ran here in the early 2010s. Very unique racetrack. We do have a couple of 1-mile racetracks on the circuit, Dover, New Hampshire, but not back to the levels that Rockingham is. Dover is, but that's more of a symmetrical racetrack. Rockingham, completely 2 different corners. Again, 3 more degrees of banking in 3 and 4 than what we have in 1 and 2. Sharper angle on entry with the straight back straightaway and the curved front stretch with the tri-oval. Jeremy Granger Jr., welcome to the stream. Yep, Ben Rhodes smoking. He's got a right front tire rub. And he has fallen out of the top 10, but he has not come to pit road yet. And I'm not sure what the reasoning for why he's trying to tough this out. I mean, I get not wanting to go a lap down, but as many positions as he's losing, as slow as he's going, he's going to end up going a lap down under green because we still have 31 laps to go in the stage. Unless he catches a caution, which he might. Connor Mosack just mowed the wall down off turn 2 towards the back portion of the field, and that's the second time that he's gotten against the outside wall. Now on both ends of the track, though, this one doesn't warrant a caution. They were showing in practice from earlier, right before the race started, that Stuart Friesen had some damage after he had gotten up against the wall earlier today, and that was off the exit of turn 2. There's several black marks up against the outside wall already from this weekend's on-track activity, whether that be the start of this race, practice, qualifying earlier. Again, very hot, very slick racetrack, and very tough conditions, with it being a new racetrack nonetheless as well for these truckers here in this one. And I'm sure we'll see more of the same in the Xfinity race tomorrow, especially with the Xfinity Series cars having a lot lower grip than these Truck Series trucks do. A little bit less downforce, a little bit more horsepower. We're going to have similar temperatures for tomorrow's race as well. Yeah, Ben Rhodes has dropped all the way to the 26th place position after running in 4th before getting against the wall in turn 2, which caused his initial tire rub. Now, it does look like the rub itself maybe has gone away a bit. But again, that truck is upset handling-wise with the damage. And Chandler Smith, who on the initial start was looking to pounce after Jake Garcia for the lead on the second lap before the caution came out, Garcia still led every lap of this one, as he's out in front of the field by about 1 second over Chandler Smith. Smith is in a battle with his teammate Lane Riggs for that second spot, both within a couple tenths of a second of each other. Then Caden Honeycutt's in 4th, Gio Ruggiero in 5th, Ty Majeski 6th, Corey Heim up 8 spots to 7th, Tanner Gray in 8th, Sammy Smith 9th, Luke Fenhouse rounds out the top 10. So again, that's the top 10 on lap 19 of 200 here today at the Rock. Showing a replay of when Connor Mosack got up against the wall off turn 2. Very tight. Definitely looked like he not only got tight, maybe got back in the gas just a little too soon. Wall comes out pretty quick on you. Tight on corner entry, tight through the middle of the corner with not a lot of room to race. Tight on the bottom. With this being fresh asphalt, it's pretty much a primarily one groove racetrack right around the bottom through both ends. So passing is going to be very limited. Top of that, you got faster mid-corner speed. It's going to be harder to get to the truck in front of you. Smith is starting to widen his gap up over Riggs now. Almost a second difference between second and third, which is still just about the gap between first and second. Garcia and Smith have been really trading lap times back and forth quite a bit with one another, even after Smith started to pull away from Riggs. Ben Rhodes already going a lap down, so much for him staying out on the racetrack. I really don't know why he stayed out. It did not take long for him to go lap down. At the pace he's running right now, he's going to end up going 2 laps down before the end of stage 1 if he doesn't catch a caution. That's the only thing I could think of, is maybe they were hoping they were going to get another early yellow like they did on the initial start of the race, which was lap 2. But that gamble did not pay off. And we saw in the past a couple of wins, a couple of very good finishes to advance Ben Rhodes deeper into the playoffs at Homestead within the last couple seasons on a gambling strategy with him and his crew chief, Rich Lucius. But today, that's not going to pan out for him here in the early laps when they have significant damage. Full screen commercial break currently airing on Fox Sports 1. That's where you can watch the race visually. If you are tuned into the channel, be sure to hit that like button if you haven't done so yet. Our like goal is to get to 50 likes for today's stream. Subscribe for more daily NASCAR content along the way, usually daily. We'd have gaming streams during the week, but nothing for this week. And again, for those of you wondering why that might be the case, if you are regulars of the channel, I've just been pumping in a lot of hours at work, 50 to 60 hours a week, that I don't have the time, or if I do get home early enough, I got to catch back up on sleep. So, just not feeling awake enough. I want to make sure that when I'm doing that, I'm not putting myself through the ringer just to get a 2-hour video game stream in. Want to make sure I'm awake, alert for it. Still on pace for our 300 days of streaming for the year, which was the overall goal coming into the year 2025. Calendar year, of course. Still very much looking at that. Right around 30 days off so far on the year, and we are in mid-April. All right, the lead has shrunk just a little bit. Garcia's now got a 0.6 of a second lead over Chandler Smith. At last lap, Smith was only a couple hundredths quicker. Clean air is definitely going to be king here today. Several trucks have already fallen off of the lead lap, which would include Stefan Malozzi, Cody Dennison, Norm Benning, Justin Carroll, Bailey Curry, who had the lap 2 spin. Corey Day is 3 laps down already, which I think he might have had to make an unscheduled stop on the restart. Frankie Muniz is a lap down. Tony Breidinger. We saw Ben Rhodes lose a lap before the commercial. Nathan Bird, Spencer Boyd. So 24 of the 35 trucks that started the race are a lap down. 3 trucks, at least, maybe 4, but at least 3 have pulled into the garage. Off the start, Stefan Malozzi in the 2, Cody Dennison in the 22, Norm Benning in the 33. Looking like a start and park performance for those 3 here today. Justin Carroll being 5 laps down. I wonder if he maybe pulled off the racetrack as well. We'll have to see if he goes more laps down here before the end of stage 1. Significantly more to dictate whether he is actually out or not. Lap 32 of 45 now here in this race. Timmy Hill in the 56 is now the next to go lap down. And Tyler Ankrum, who started deep in the field today, and one of the drivers up in the top 10 of the point standings, also at the tail end of the lead lap in front of Jake Garcia, who's having a career start to a day. We'll see if he can put the full race together. I mentioned already Chandler Smith was starting to run him down a bit during the commercial break. Now as they have come back, the lead's only a couple of truck lengths between first and second for the drivers who led the first 33 laps of the race. Still 12 laps to go in stage 1. And Tyler Ankrum is definitely not going to be an easy pass here for Garcia. He's going to try to fight for what he can to put himself a lap down. And the longer he can stay in front of the 13 and the 38 as well, that's going to give him a better opportunity to try to get into the free pass position and allow for less time for somebody else ahead to go lap down. As many laps as we still have left in the stage, though, I just don't think that that's going to happen. But that's the thought process, at least here for the 18. And highlighting those point standings as well, which we didn't quite get to before the start. Corey Heim came in as the points leader, only 18 ahead of Chandler Smith. Smith had a great performance last week on top of a win, got a stage win at Bristol as well. Led over 100 laps. Ty Majeski's third in points, but minus 57 back. Remember, you can only score up to 61 points in a single race if you were to win both stages, win the race, and get the Xfinity Fast Lap Award. Tyler Ankrum minus 60. Just over 1 race worth of points back is Daniel Hemrick in 5th. And you got Lane Riggs 6th in points, Grant Enfinger 7th, Stuart Friesen 8th, Ben Rhodes 9th. Jake Garcia, who started on the pole and is still the leader, is 10th in points. So he's right on that playoff bubble. And he's only 5 points ahead of Caden Honeycutt. 11 races to go in the regular season after today's event concludes. Garcia looking low, trying to get by the lap truck in the 91. Does get by Wood. And to the inside goes the 38. Right at about the start-finish line. Poked the nose to the inside. Garcia left just enough of a hole open. Did not get up off of the exit of turn 4 very well. But Smith is not able to stay to the inside off of turn 2. Now after that failed pass attempt for the lead on the front straightaway the last lap, Lane Riggs is going back for second place again on Chandler Smith. And Smith's going to have to let him go. Up off the exit of turn 2, Lane Riggs is clear. So Smith, who won last week and got the first win of the season for Front Row Motorsports in the Truck Series, Lane Riggs trying to get number 2 and a first for himself on the campaign. We'll see if he's got a fast enough truck at this point in the run to maybe be able to successfully make the pass on Garcia. Caden Honeycutt's up to 4th place as well. He's been slowly working himself forward through the field as this run's gone on. And he's not that far up the lead as well, within a second. So the top 4 are within about 7 to 8 tenths of a second of one another at the front of the pack. 6 laps to go in stage 1 that time by at the line. Garcia consistently running the middle groove of the racetrack through 1 and 2. Slightly better corner exit speed down the straightaways, but he's definitely given up in the corners. Look at how hard, for those of you who are actually watching on screen, that Lane Riggs is able to charge the center of the corner on the bottom, hook to the white line. Same thing Chandler Smith was able to do in 3 and 4 to get to the inside of Garcia. It was more of a setup move the last time. Now gets to the inside off of turn 2. Through 3 and 4, if he can charge as hard as he did the lap before, he should be able to make the pass for the lead. He clips the apron, gets loose, barely keeps it off Garcia, keeps it in the right direction, but now might lose second. Chandler Smith going to help his teammate out and try to give him a bump draft and get him back going quickly again down the front stretch to try to both keep pace in front of the 45. And Riggs is going to have another crack at it here before the end of the stage. That was a big slide on the bottom of the racetrack for Lane Riggs. Great truck control to keep from making contact. That could have easily wiped out the top 2 and maybe even a couple behind them running as tightly as they were. Them being Chandler Smith and Caden Honeycutt. Off turn 2, all over the back bumper is Riggs. We'll have 2 laps to go in stage 1 this time by at the line. Riggs now a lane off the bottom. A slight bit below Garcia. Gets to the inside at the start-finish line. Garcia leads the lap. Riggs is going to charge hard down the entry into 1 and 2 this time. Doesn't overdrive the corner and is clear. First lead change of the day, and we also have a pass for 3rd as Honeycutt will get by Chandler Smith also through turns 1 and 2. And now through 3 and 4, Riggs is putting a gap on Garcia immediately. Riggs is checking out. Final lap, stage 1. Garcia is starting to drop like a rock all of a sudden as he's trying to hang on for every bonus point he can. Honeycutt to the inside down the backstretch. Into 3 and 4. Battle for the second place stage points is on the line still. And Garcia will barely be able to hold on. So Lane Riggs will lead the last few laps of stage 1 to get a stage win. And 10 regular season points to go along with it. Jake Garcia, who started on the pole, was able to lead the first 43 out of 45 laps, and the last 2 were led by Lane Riggs, our stage winner. Caden Honeycutt was 3rd in stage 1, Chandler Smith in 4th after the pass for Honeycutt on Smith with 2 to go in the stage as well. Corey Heim 5th after starting 15th. Gio Ruggiero was 6th, his teammate just there behind him. And 7th was Ty Majeski, Tanner Gray 8th, Sammy Smith 9th, Luke Fenhouse rounds out the top 10. 1 caution for incident in stage 1, which was on lap 2, involving Connor Mosack and Bailey Curry. Both trucks continue in the race, though I believe both trucks are off of the lead lap. Connor Mosack was actually the last truck to finish on the lead lap at 21st. At the end of that last stage, though, Bailey Curry with damage is 4 laps down. Free pass is going to go to Jack Wood. In 22nd, he'll get back on the lead lap to begin stage 2. First stage wraps up in the books. Be sure to vote for who you think is going to win today's Truck Series race at Rockingham in our chat poll. As usual, that poll will close at the end of stage 2. And your voting options for this week are between Lane Riggs, who was our stage 1 winner, Corey Heim, who's at 32% of the votes, Riggs at 19%. Grant Enfinger, another option at 11% of the votes. And somebody other than those 3 at 38%. Currently leads the way. 47 votes have been casted. Frank Powers, welcome to the stream also. 33 likes. We are 17 away from our goal of 50. And again, subscribe for more NASCAR content and live commentary streams every NASCAR race weekend just like this. Xfinity will be tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern. So a 1 hour earlier start time than what we had here this evening for a 50-lap longer race. 250 laps for tomorrow's Xfinity Series race to today's 200. We'll take our first ad break of the stream. You're listening live to the Black's Tire 200 on KRC. We're also going to have our first pit stop of the race coming up. Finally, a chance for Ben Rhodes' crew to repair the damage on his truck following the damage sustained on the last restart. He was only one lap down, but still fell off the lead lap. Only ThorSport truck not to be on the lead lap at the end of the stage. That's despite the fact that he was up in fourth when the contact with the turn 2 wall happened. It looked like he did it on his own. No contact a couple laps into the restart. Actually made a pass to get into fourth the lap before that. He had a big gap back to the 3 trucks that were in front of him at that time too, so he wasn't in a heated battle for position, just got tight. We've seen quite a few drivers get against the turn 2 wall, and I think that's really just a product of drivers getting back into the gas in the center of the corner a little bit too soon. Not quite being patient enough. The over-aggressiveness definitely biting. Strange that you would see that to a veteran like that. Same thing happened to another veteran earlier today. Stuart Friesen, the reason why he started at the back. Friesen was able to stay on the lead lap to the end of the stage, had gotten to 17th. Pit road should be open this time by. Zachary Powers, welcome to the stream. Teams are up on the wall. Should be 4 tires all the way around today. I would be shocked if anybody took 2. I know this is a freshly repaved surface, but fast mid-corner speeds, there was still a bit of tire fall off. Especially after 45 laps.
Because we've seen how tough it is to pass and how important track position is. It's going to come on the cruise.
You better be making an adjustment if you're up front because Corey Heim is a coming. And if you don't make your truck better, he's going to beat you.
Yes, he is. All right, they're coming your way, Amanda.
Yeah, and one of those trucks coming is at 38, and chance for Steve Denby pulls into the very first pit stop here at Rockingham. That truck's going to take fuel and 4 tires. Chandler was telling his team that this truck just does not have grip laterally. It's way too much on the back rear. Todd?
The 13, Jake Stark Garcia, he liked his truck to start this run, but as the run went on, built a little too much to the tight side. So they're going to raise the track bar up, get some freeness in it. Just the opposite for Lane Riggs in the 34. He did not like his truck to start way too loose. He said the racetrack came to him as it started taking rubber. They're doing the opposite, going to lower the track bar to try to get some lateral grip at the back.
I was just talking about it'd be risky to take 2 tires here, but that's exactly what Caden Honeycutt and that 45 team did, and that is going to win him the race off of pit road. 12 positions gained also for Grant Enfinger. Lane Riggs down 2 spots. First driver off of pit road with 4 tires. Parker Kligerman up to 4th on the restart, so a couple of drivers gambling to get track position. Interesting for Honeycutt because he was in 3rd. Only trucks he would have leapfrogged would have been Garcia and Riggs, and I would argue he was faster than Garcia. Riggs we'd have to see straight up, but now Riggs is going to have a slight tire advantage. We'll see what will come into play there. Interesting pit strategy. It'll be even more interesting to see how that plays out in Stage 3. Depending on if we get any cautions in those final 85 to 88 laps, which would be our fuel window for the race here this evening. So top drivers again on the restart. You're going to have Caden Honeycutt, Grant Enfinger towards the front of the field. Lane Riggs, Parker Kligerman should line up behind them in row 2. Chandler Smith, Ty Majeski after that. And then Jake Garcia and Gio Ruggiero. Once again, a reminder, Xfinity Series also at The Rock this weekend, and we will go live at 4 p.m. Eastern again tomorrow afternoon for our NASCAR Xfinity Series race coverage. The North Cup Series back in action next weekend at Talladega. Trucks will be off. Xfinity and Cup Series will be at Talladega. ARCA as well. We'll have live commentary all day Saturday. Qualifying, ARCA race, Xfinity race, triple header for Saturday next week. Only our second triple header of the season. Last time we had that was for Atlanta earlier this year when they had the qualifying in the morning for the Cup Series, followed by the Truck and Xfinity races later that afternoon. Actually, no, now that I think about it, we also had a triple header on Daytona 500 week also on that Saturday because we had Cup final practice, ARCA, Xfinity, so it'll be similar to that. Third triple header of the year. But it'll be fun. And then on the road, and I will see you guys in a couple weeks after that. I'll be at the Texas Motor Speedway Cup race that following week, so it's part of the extended vacation. We'll be at Dega Cup, at Texas Cup. But there will be live commentary for anything else going on the Saturdays beforehand. A couple extra trucks that are already off the lead lap coming back down to refuel. Ben Rhodes is back down maybe to repair a little bit more of the right front tire damage. And Caden Honeycutt wins the race off of pit road. Did not take 4 tires. Topped off, we'll see where he can go. In the booth today, by the way, Jamie Little, Michael Waltrip, and Carson Hocevar will be the guest analyst. Haven't been able to listen into that much. You'll get to listen to their trio of commentary from remote location in Charlotte, North Carolina. They're basically doing the same exact thing I'm able to do from the comfort of my own home. Let you guys decide which is better. They do have more resources than I do, though. They definitely have more cameras to look off of. They can probably see multiple of the cameras other than just the TV broadcast. I only have the TV broadcast. That and they're getting fed information from at the track from the few pit reporters that are there working for Fox this weekend. Todd Bodine, Amanda Busick. Field has gotten the 1 to go signal. They'll be going green this time by. Just exiting the choose. Matt Crafton is pulled into the garage area with problems early on.
Was told that the switch that Matt uses to switch from one battery to the other was shorting out, and that was causing sparks inside of the truck that ended up lighting, as we said earlier, that the dash was on fire, and that was the smoke coming out of the 88 there, but that truck is being pushed back to the garage. Jamie, I know we've talking about it all day. It's such a shame, considering that Matt Crafton has experience here at The Rock.
Yeah, it's a shame. He's had such a tough start to the season, just that 88 team.
Yeah, tough break there for Matt Crafton. Definitely going to drop him out of the race. Against sparks coming from inside the race car. Dash lighting up on fire. As the green flag is back upon us, it's going to be Grant Enfinger coming out with the race lead on Caden Honeycutt. Enfinger also went with 2 tires on that last pit stop, but is able to beat the young gun Honeycutt to get to the lead. Veteran experience now out in front for the first time here today. Our third lead change of the race. Honeycutt was able to lead under caution, but no green flag laps led for Caden. Holding on to second for the time being. Now just lost second place, actually, off turn 2. Lane Riggs is clear. And he'll try to retake the lead yet again. Riggs up at the front of the field on the freshest tires with that strategy call. Chandler Smith is in 4th place, battling for that spot with Jake Garcia. Both those two started on the front row here today. Parker Kligerman again had stayed on the racetrack, not taking tires. Lost a couple spots back to 7th. We'll have to see how he fares, as he was outside the top 10 all the way through the first stage. Started very deep in the field today. Jake Garcia, round turns 1 and 2, able to get by Chandler Smith. Pass made for 4th. It definitely seems like Garcia's got a great short run truck and then fades on the long run. Probably a lot of the reason he was able to sit the pole for this race. Big chance to try to close in, though, until Lane Riggs can get to the lead, if he can get there. Knowing that Grant Enfinger's the driver trying to hold him off for the time being. Enfinger definitely doesn't have the pacing that some of those trucks do behind him. Caden Honeycutt able to keep up as well, even on the same strategy of Enfinger, but Honeycutt was up in the 3rd place position at the end of stage 1 anyway. So he's got a much faster truck through the early portion of this race than Enfinger. Only so many adjustments that you can make to try to better the race truck when you're still on older tires. Not really going to get the full effect of those setup changes until you slap 4 fresh Goodyears on it. Not seeing a lot of fall off though either. I thought there'd be a little bit more with how slick the racetrack is, but that just goes to show how well of a job they did repaving this racetrack. And Enfinger stayed out there with fuel only, and last lap he just ran was a 23.519. His fastest lap of the race is a 23.328. So just under 0.2 of a second slower than his fastest lap. And as far as green flag laps go, he's got over 50 green flag laps on his tires. We're at lap 64, 13 laps ran under yellow. So yeah, 51 green flag laps on those tires, only 0.2 of a second drop off. 0.3 of a second lead out front of the field for Enfinger over Lane Riggs. Caden Honeycutt is a half a second back in 3rd. Split to 4th is 0.8 of a second to Jake Garcia. 1.1 seconds to Chandler Smith in 5th. Ty Majeski's 1.3 seconds back in 6th. Corey Heim 1.6 seconds back in 7th. Parker Kligerman is 3.7 seconds off the lead in 8th. Gio Ruggiero in 9th is 3.9 seconds off the lead. And Connor Mosak 4.5 seconds back, rounding out the top 10. Great performance for Mosak to come back from the lap 2 spin to get to where he's at right now. And that's even after hitting the wall again on the last restart. I'm not sure if he might have went with fuel only to get a lot of those spots back. Very well possible, especially with taking tires early. I'm sure he did during the first caution. Though the first yellow was only 2 laps in, so he's only got 2 lap fresher tires than those who wouldn't have pitted during the lap 2 incident caution. And he probably had to do that to try to save a set anyway, considering he would have burned one already. Enfinger picked up that last lap about 0.1 of a second from his original fastest lap of this current run. His best lap of the race is actually lap 59, which is where that 23.328 to begin with was ran. So just 9 laps ago, which would have been, again, on the older tires at the front of the field. It's the first time he's been able to get the track position for it. So that should go to show. Track position is definitely the name of the game today. Do whatever you can to get it. The speed in the truck is basically the speed that you have, and the difference between 1st and 21st isn't going to be that much. Especially for a short run. About halfway through stage 2, full screen commercial break currently airing on Fox Sports 1. Our full leaderboard will look like this as of right now. You got Grant Enfinger in the lead, Lane Riggs in 2nd, Caden Honeycutt 3rd, Jake Garcia 4th, Chandler Smith in 5th. Sixth place is Ty Majeski, Corey Heim 7th, Parker Kligerman 8th, Gio Rogero 9th, and Connor Mosak in 10th, as I mentioned already. In 11th is Tanner Gray, Raja Caruth in 12th, Daniel Hemrick 13th, Matt Mills 14th, and Brandon Jones 15th. Stuart Friesen in 16th, Sammy Smith 17th, 18th for Andres Perez, Dawson Sutton 19th, and Jack Wood in 20th. Luke Fenhouse in 21st, Timmy Hill is the last truck in the lead lap in 22nd. Tyler Aker 23rd, Spencer Boyd 24th, and Tony Breidinger 25th. Nathan Bird 26th, Ben Rhodes 27th, Bailey Curry 28th, Corey Day 29th, and Frankie Muniz in 30th. Matt Crafton just pulled off the racetrack during stage 1 with an electrical fire inside the race truck. 31st off track for him. Justin Carroll's 32nd, pulled off the racetrack back in stage 1 as well. And also for Cody Dennison 33rd, Stefan Malozzi 34th, and Norm Benning 35th. And Malozzi actually pulled off and then went back out on the racetrack and made up enough laps to pass Dennison and Benning in the running order. So just passed Dennison that last lap, in fact, for 33rd. Pass for the lead also took place during the commercial break, as our new race leader is now Caden Honeycutt for the first time today. And Lane Riggs will move into second, dropping our race leader at the time of the commercial break of Grant Enfinger now back to third, 1 second off the race lead. So Honeycutt was able to get by Riggs and then get by Enfinger. And now he's still trying to hold off Riggs as he battles him again. It looks like, as they're showing the replay, Riggs got a little loose in 3 and 4 trying to make a pass on that end of the track. And that's what we saw earlier when he was battling Jake Garcia as well.
Take advantage of it. They can slide it above wall. He's got momentum. The 34-9 side drafted each other. The 34-9 lost their momentum. 45 able to take advantage of cutting the distance and keeping that momentum. Honeycutt to the lead and pulling away a little bit. 34 keeping in tow. But now Garcia to third, as we've lost touch with Enfinger. He's fallen all the way to 6 now.
And you remember those 2 tires that Kate Honeycutt are working for him. Fast truck right now. But Jake Garcia, we talked about how good he was on the new tires at the start of the race. That adjustment looks like it's working good for him too, as he's got his truck up into the 3rd spot.
Really impressive right here for all of them, as Corey Day currently 3 laps down with a right rear. Currently down pit road again. Just a bad day going worse, Michael.
Yeah, you got to learn everything.
No.
They're working on that. Probably just pour his poor arms out, man. That's too hard, too much of a job to do without power steering.
Amanda, what's the latest on the 99?
Yeah, it's still like that power steering. I think there might be air in the line of trying to get that power steering fluid back into that truck. I just saw the team run off of the pit box and told him to exit that track. The 99 is headed back to the garage, guys.
See, Rich Lucius is crew chief there. Tough break for them. They look like contenders to start this day earlier with practice and qualifying.
That's how bad Jake Garcia and Corey Haim, the fastest 2 trucks on the track. They're both solidly in the top 5. You can see here the 17 of Giorgio. He's having a great run. He's got a really fast truck and is doing a good job.
Pass for the lead.
There's a battle for the lead. Nathan Bird in that 02 truck, black truck, got in the way of Caden Honeycutt, and that allowed the door to open up for Lane Riggs.
Honeycutt
Riggs leads here for the 2nd time today. He won stage 1. Look at him setting sail. See you guys.
Honeycutt looks a little free or something to be able to not have him be able to run the bottom as good. And Nathan Bird just took that line away from him. And Lane Riggs we talked about, but super good on the bottom. Rolled by both.
Jake Garcia making his way forward. They made that big adjustment, fell back a bit, but he's moving forward as Lane Riggs continues to lead. We'll step aside, but you won't miss a thing.
Going to a side-by-side commercial break now. 10 laps to go in stage 2 this time by. We'll be through 80 of 200 laps in this event, with Riggs out in front of the field. Again, Caden Honeycutt in second, 0.8 back now of our race leader, Lane Riggs. 1.2 seconds is the gap to third, Jake Garcia. 2.2 seconds back to Chandler Smith in fourth. Corey Haim, 2.6 seconds off the lead in fifth, rounding out the top 5. And as you heard there on the broadcast, Ben Rhodes, power steering issue, pulling to pit road. 2 mechanical failures already for Thor Sport Racing. Ben Rhodes power steering, and a dash fire for Matt Crafton. Majeski's in 6th, Jake Garcia in 3rd after starting on the pole. Luke Fenhouse was in the top 10 at the end of stage 1. He was 10th, but is now 20th towards the tail end of the lead lap in stage 2. Waiting for FS1 to come back from this commercial break. We'll take a quick break of our own. You're listening live. NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series racing at Rockingham. The Black's Tire 200 is live here on KRC. Riggs is slightly growing out the lead as it continues onward through lap traffic. Just over a 1 second advantage to Honeycutt. Jake Garcia is actually running down Caden through the lap traffic just a bit. Might have a chance to get to second. Honeycutt did not take tires like Riggs and Garcia behind him did. Enfinger, who also had gone fuel only, is in 7th after getting to the lead initially on the restart. And then Parker Kligerman has dropped outside of the top 10, will not get stage points, was also on that strategy. So only 3 drivers did not take tires, and all 3 of them starting to go backwards now as we get later into the second stage. Rex's truck still looks very loose. Through 1 and 2 that time, sliding around the bottom of the racetrack. Loses fast if you can hold on to it. And he's holding on to it very well out in front of the field.
Good solid run for him. Stuart Friesen with the problems early with starting in the rear. He's up to 13th. So you got some good movers and shakers, and you got a lot of 2x2 racing. Look at this battle.
This battle 10 through 13th right here is Freeman looking at 1, maybe 2, looking maybe to the inside, trying to clear that 71 of Rajah Caruth with that HinderCars.com Chevy. Side by side, going to continue fighting. Going to be tough to stay side by side as Friesen's going to clear and click off 1 more spot up to 12.
Connor Mozak, you mentioned him, Michael. I mean, lap 3, the guy went around, and his truck has been that good. The team has stayed in it now, up to 10th. You see him right there in that colorful 81. Tanner Gray just behind him.
And as racing goes, he turned around Bailey Curry, and Curry's 5 laps down, and he's in the top 10. You know, sometimes racing just doesn't seem fair to you, but you just race on.
And we talked to Tanner Gray's crew chief in the show earlier, and obviously felt really good about their truck running 11th right now. Maybe not 100% the best day they would 100% want right now, but still looking pretty solid right now with plenty of time to adjust on that truck.
Final lap here. The stage number 2. Lane Riggs, remember, picked up his first career stage win earlier. Trying to hang on here to pick up stage win number 2.
Jack Wood doing his best to stay ahead of Lane. I don't think Lane's going to contest him too strongly. Pretty big lead over a second for Riggs as he comes to the green and white check.
Goes in the air. It's got to feel good. This truck has been so quick, so they sweep the stages so far. Kate Honeycutt, Jake Garcia, they stay in that order. Chandler Smith and Corey Heim round out the top 5. Can Lane Riggs hang on and win it all? 110 laps still to go from the Rock.
Oh, Rock. Bradley Thomas, welcome to the stream. Hopeful, welcome to the stream as well. Lane Riggs, stage 2 winner. Just as he was in stage 1, got his first 2 stage wins of not only the season, but his career as well. And he's already to the second most stage wins in the Craftsman Truck Series this season of the Truck Series regulars. Corey Heim had 4 stage wins. Anybody else who had one coming into the day had 1 or less. And 2 here today for Lane Riggs now puts him to second on that list. Riggs came in 6th in points, 84 points off of Corey Heim, our current points leader. But he was within 24 points of 3rd, so he has a good shot to jump up quite a few spots in the standings with the performance he's put together today. Especially on Tyler Anker, who hasn't scored a single stage point. Daniel Hemrick didn't score a single stage point. So he's got a very, very good opportunity to move quite a ways into the top 5. Gained 2 positions after last week's race at Bristol to go from 8th to 6th in points entering this weekend. Still a lot of racing to go. Second half of this one remains. Just past 6 p.m. Eastern here on the East. We'll end the chat polls. We're at the end of stage 2. 55 votes have been casted, 42% taking somebody other than Heim, Riggs, or Enfinger for the win. Riggs had 20% of the votes after winning the first two stages of the race. Corey Heim at 29% of the votes was second most, and Grant Enfinger, who led for a few laps on the strategy at the beginning of stage 2 at 9% of the votes. Corey Heim got up to 5th, started 15th, but he's been pretty much 5th or 6th most of this race. Hasn't cracked the top 4 yet. We'll see if he can progress forward into stage 3. Coming in as the points leader, the only driver who's won more than one truck race this season. We've had 5 different winners in the first 6 races. Heim by far has led the most laps. Most stage wins. Most top 5s. And he's the points leader.
And the Cardinals battle Juan Soto and the Mets. Check local listings for the game in your area. That's tomorrow, 4 Eastern on Fox.
I could have handled that Corey Seager name, but after that, Jamie, I think you did a really nice job.
Arenado.
There's got a lot of stuff going on Fox right now. NASCAR, IndyCar, NHRA, baseball. What else do we have? Horse racing. You're home for sports. Oh, look at this guy.
I like
This kid's races on Fox.
I like his shorts. Look at him. The whole family's got him on.
How fun is that? There's a sand mill right outside the racetrack. We showed it earlier. These boys are playing in the sand, having a good old time.
It's the Sand Hill region of North Carolina.
There you go.
See the stage points on the screen. Lane Riggs, impressive 20. Kate Honeycutt, impressive 17. And I bet you this is a career day so far for Jake Garcia.
Oh, yeah.
Started off strong with that pole. Now we'll see where they go with the strategy.
Really doing it on a big stage here in Rockingham.
Time for pit stops for the second time, Amanda.
Chandler Smith comes back to that first pit stop here at Rockingham. He pulls into that team that he assembled back in January. It will be tires for Chandler Smith as we take a look at that, but he's on. Then he's better laterally. He's hitting the flitter on entry. Todd?
Yeah, I spoke with the crew chief, Phil Gould, on the 45. He said Caden got a little tight as that run went, but Phil feels like it was just the left front tire being wore out. The fact they only took 2 tires at stop. So 4 tires with no changes for Caden Honeycutt. The 34 Lane Riggs, he feels like the racetrack has stopped changing. They're going to make some adjustments, a little bit of air out of the right rear to give him some lateral grip in the back. Jamie?
Guess if it stopped changing, that's bad news for the rest of the field because Lane's been pretty good. But
Parker Kligerman went no tires again.
Up 3 spots to the lead for him.
Wow.
We'll be back for the third and final stage from the Rock.
So Lane Riggs, who ended up winning the first 2 stages today, comes out of the pits 10th, top 9, had all stayed out on the racetrack. Well, not stayed out. They came in for fuel, but they did not take tires. And Parker Kligerman didn't take tires at the end of stage 1, and he doesn't here at the end of stage 2 either. He's going to make them last as long as he can. He fell outside of the top 10 the last stage. The good news is for him, he's got more trucks behind him this time that had also stayed with the same strategy and not taking any fuel and or right sides only. Those lefts are the same tires he started the race with, though. 6 lead changes so far. This is our 3rd caution. Stage 2 went caution-free. Our only incident of the race was on lap 2, and that took place in turns 3 and 4, rather, with Connor Mosack and Bailey Curry. First time Chandler Smith has led today, despite the fact that he did start on the front row in 2nd. We'll see if he can hold on in the restart. Alongside Chandler Smith, we'll have Raja Kruth. And then behind them will be Parker Kligerman, Daniel Hemrick, with Sammy Smith and Tyler Ankrum also up inside the top half dozen. Brett Whitesides, welcome to the stream. Regina Huddleston, pulling for Gio Ruggiero. Didn't realize the race was on. Yeah, you are just in time. Got the second half of the race coming. Early start again for the Truck Series. Earliest start time of the season. Any tracks with no lights that the Truck Series is running on a Friday this year is a 5 p.m. start. I think Dover, they're starting at 5. Pocono, I believe they're starting at 5. And I think Dega in the fall, they're starting at 5. So there's several early starts on Friday evenings, Friday afternoons for the Truck Series this season, from what I remember on their schedule. Watkins Glen might be too. I know they run at the Glen this year, but I'm not sure if that's a Saturday with the Xfinity or a Friday. I would assume it's probably a Friday. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, they definitely got several early starts. Got the Thursday night when they go to Bristol the next time. "41 likes. We're 9 away from our goal of 50. Time for the Stage 2 diecast showing. Figured I'd show off former Truck Series great Johnny Sauter, though this one is from the Cup Series racing days for himself, and this is the number 30 AOL car from the 2004 season. So again, 2004, first year of the Nextel. And honestly, one of my favorite schemes from that era of NASCAR was this AOL scheme. They had a couple inversions of it. This one specifically was my favorite. Big fan of the blue and yellow schemes throughout NASCAR. I mentioned that many times over. Haven't showed this one off yet this season. I figured for a truck race, it'd be a good time to show it off. Again, Johnny Sauter, number AOL 30 for Richard Childress Racing. Again, 2004 was the year of this diecast. And it's actually signed on the roof as well from pre-purchase. Few signed diecasts I have. Oddly enough, most of the RCR diecasts are the ones that are signed. I got a Jeff Burton signed, Kevin Harvick, Johnny Sauter. I think there's an Elliott Sadler one. I know that's not Childress, but I think those are the only ones I have signed. This is the final race of the Triple Truck Challenge. They haven't mentioned that over the broadcast at all yet, but Daniel Hemrick and Chandler Smith won the first 2 races of the Triple Truck Challenge. If they win today's race, they'll get a $100,000 bonus. $50,000 for anybody else.
That thing. They'll let the tire changers have been thankful they haven't had to work that hard yet. But yeah, I'm curious how this seems to work out. He got himself to the top 10, got himself some track position. But I'm really curious to see the thought process here if it could take advantage.
Let's see if he can deliver a sucker punch and use that strategy to win this race.
To get on.
I like it.
Yeah, Brandon Jones, you see that one truck, I should say, had a loose wheel. So we're good.
The wheel got away from him on pit road. Here it is.
Oof.
Tire sitting on pit road. The official goes and gets it. That means he will restart tail end of the longest line. So it's already back there a ways. So giving up a few positions there for that penalty.
There's no hiding that one, Michael. There's no like trying to plead your case, right? It's pretty obvious, especially when we put those stickers on those tires.
We got Sammy Smith, Connor Mosak also moving well up into the order with that strategy play. So this is going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, various guys like we've seen. The 34 lane rank's going to be 5th car on the bottom in line. Gonna put them a little far back in traffic. It's going to be maybe making those trucks difficult to handle as you see Sammy Smith. This is the highest he's been all day.
Right behind him is Connor Mosak. We saw his problems earlier.
And we're used to seeing that 07 truck though up front.
That sun looks like it could be causing us some problems here as we race into the evening. Track's going to change too. I think it's going to cool off enough at the end of this race that maybe this track will change, and we'll see who that benefits as we go toward the checker.
Yeah, it was interesting, different philosophies. We heard Lane say he thinks it's done changing, but I think there's a few others, Michael, that have adjusted no change.
I mean, it's going to continue to change as we get closer to complete darkness. Not going to get to that point with no lights on this racetrack, but very much shaded in turns 1 and 2, a lot more shaded to go in 3 and 4. As the green flag's in the air and the final stage is underway, we'll be officially halfway home, this time by the start-finish line. And on the restart, Rajah Caruth and Chandler Smith run door-to-door for the lead all the way through the opening lap, and now into the second lap following the restart as well. Parker Kligerman in 3rd place right there behind him. Thought about going 3 wide, has to cut in line to the inside just behind Caruth. Caruth has to hop out of the gas after having a bit of a moment underneath the 38 for the lead, and Kligerman's trying to pounce for 2nd. Very tightly door-to-door, a couple rows deep into turns 3 and 4, while Chandler Smith extends his lead just out in front of all of that. 3 wide off turn 4 down to the apron. Corey Heim underneath Lane Riggs, Ty Majeski. Riggs caught back in traffic this time, and Corey Heim, the series veteran who we haven't really talked about much today, is headed towards the front of the field. Sammy Smith getting chopped off by the 98 of Majeski in that middle groove of the racetrack. Sammy Smith restarted 5th. He's outside the top 10 now. One of those drivers of the 9 that had stayed on the same set of tires they had from the end of the last stage to the beginning of this stage and went with fuel only. Caden Honeycutt and Corey Heim 5th and 6th are the highest running of those that would have fresh tires. Riggs would be the next highest after that, and 8th Enfinger right there around him. Big moment for Tanner Gray up off turn 4. Slight wiggle, lost time to the truck he was battling with for position. 77's all over him now. Just outside the top 10 for those few trucks. 3 wide and contact down into 3 and 4. Big save for Luke Venhouse. Barely keeps it off the wall. He was the truck in the middle of the 3 wide and just ran out of room. He had a truck to his inside that got squeezed down towards the apron. He was in the middle getting hit from the outside. Looks like there's a tire rub not only on Fenhouse's truck, but Dawson Sutton in the 26 as well. Sutton was one of the trucks he made contact with. Sutton's a lot slower than Fenhouse. Fenhouse is keeping speed, but not the case for the 26. Although, actually, it was Connor Mosak who was outside of 3 wide. Had squeezed them down, so I'm not sure exactly what happened to Sutton. He might have gotten against the wall off of turn 2 just before he had gotten passed by Fenhouse, but both of those trucks do have a tire rub. So Mosak, it looked like he just crowded the 2 trucks underneath him. Definitely didn't give enough room to either of them. And I'm surprised that wasn't an incident, because that's exactly where we saw Mosak go around for a spin earlier while running side by side inside the top 10 with Bailey Curry. Great enough drive control for Luke Fenhouse to at least hold on to it, keep the race green. He's had a very up and down day. He started up towards the front of the field. He qualified fairly well. Top 10 at the end of stage 1, but then he was 20th after stage 2. Was starting to get forward in the track running order again before obviously that happened and lost a handful of positions on the restart, or at least a few laps after it. Fenhouse is now 21st. Last truck on the lead lap. Spencer Boyd in 22nd is currently the first truck 1 lap down. And everybody from 29th on back in the running order is off or out of the race. Smits leads 1.1 seconds over Daniel Hemrick. Caution flag is out. It'll be our first caution of stage 3. Second for incident. 4th caution of the race. And it's another Thor Sport truck, this time Ty Majeski in the 98. A lot of damage to the back end of his race truck. He was going backwards on the restart, was just outside the top 10. It is not a good day at all for Thor Sport. Power steering problems dropped Ben Rhodes out of the race. Matt Crafton, a dash fire, dropped him out of the race. Majeski's going to be done with the damage he has now to the back of his truck. Definitely spun backwards against the wall, and we just saw Fenhouse laps before that with a tire rub after contact 3 wide.
He was
Tough luck right there.
running 10th at the time of this impact. Take a look back here.
He's on the inside of Grant Enfinger, and we know how easy it is to get loose down there. And that's what happens. Got the right rear out, no air to lean on. That means a loose race truck, and it went around.
Seen that before, Michael. Remember a few weeks ago, Martinsville just running real close on the bottom, trying to get a little tight, and just gets in too deep, too shallow, and
Big hit.
Ty Majeski around and pays the price for it this time. Battling for 10th with Grant Enfinger.
Second bad week for Ty Majeski. Finished 33rd a week ago at Bristol. Oof, right there.
Enfinger did a good job to be able to recover there and keep his truck out of the wall, but not the same for Ty Majeski, as that Soda Sense truck is seen better days right now.
You know how hard it is, Carson, when you're that outside truck, you can almost sense that the guy below you is in trouble, and you just roll up and give him room so he doesn't take you with him. And I think you saw some heads up driving there by Grant Enfinger doing just that.
A lot of experience in that Grant Enfinger machine, and just easily able to unwind the wheel. Unfortunately, been sort of a characteristic of Ty. Doesn't make a lot of mistakes, but when it does, unfortunately, it's on the inside of trucks and just gets loose, trying a little bit too hard on entry. And just unfortunately just the wrong side of it.
What are we going to do about this? Excuse me, timely caution. You could make it from here, and we know the tires don't fall off. 2 people come and get some gas.
And if you're not up front, I think you definitely take advantage of it. But yeah, I think almost everybody potentially is going to be able to want to take advantage of it, right? Because you're not going to be able to flip it. Once the guys are good on field, they're going to stay out the rest of the day.
Yeah, and
they're going to stay the rest of the day. So you're not going to be able to catch a yellow and hopefully flip them and get better tires and get back through the field. I think you're really going to see a lot of people come down. It's just now 2 or 4 or none.
Yeah, none might be the option too. But if you're going to come down and that's a call you kind of make on the fly. If you see a lot of trucks come in front of you, you might take 2 or just no tires at all to gain track position. So these crew chiefs, these spotters will be reporting in what's happening and who's doing what as these drivers make their way down pit road.
You have a lot of variables, right? Do you think it's going to go green to the 89 or what? There's so many different options.
Probably not.
They'll have a little bit more time to think about their strategy and what they do next when we come back after this.
Cleanup continues. Pit road not quite open yet. Chandler Smith is our race leader under caution. And it looks like the red flag has actually been displayed as well. So maybe there's some fluids being leaked out from Majeski's race truck when he had rolled back around to pit row, which was the reason for why pit row wasn't open yet. And now lengthy cleanup is going to lead to a red flag. Should be relatively brief. I don't see this lasting longer than 5 to 10 minutes, but we'll stop action and track is blocked for the moment. Safety crews can get this cleaned up as quickly as we possibly can. Current top 5 at the time of the red. Chandler Smith in the lead, Daniel Hemrick in second, Roger Carruth in third, Corey Heim fourth, Lane Riggs is fifth. And again, this is prior to pit stops under the red. 89 laps to go here at Rockingham. Our fourth caution, 6 lead changes, 23 laps under yellow so far. Just over 1 hour from the drop of the green flag to where we're at currently. Our second caution for incident. 3 of the 5 Thor Sport trucks out of the race. At least Jake Garcia is having a good run today. It's been the only bright spot for Thor Sport Racing so far. Been the only one to stay clean all day, too. It's helped he's been towards the front of the field for a lot of it, but now he's not. I mean, he's still towards the front in 7th, but doesn't mean anything. Ben Rhodes was in 4th when he had his problems. Ty Majeski just wrecked and he was battling for 10th. The Rat Farmer, welcome to the stream. Delbert Wilson, welcome to the stream as well. We're almost at our light goal of 50. We're at 48 currently. First of only 2 live commentary streams this weekend. Shortest weekend we'll have all year for the live commentary side of things with the Cup Series off, so no practice qualifying Cup Series stream. No race, obviously, for the Cup Series, so just 2 streams this weekend, and our second of which will be tomorrow afternoon at 4 p.m. Eastern when the Xfinity Series will take their turn here at Rockingham, the North Carolina Speedway.
Saturday, the Xfinity Series takes center stage for qualifying at 11:30 a.m. on the CWF before tackling the Rock at 4 p.m. Eastern on the CW.
And the red flag is out here at Rockingham with 89 laps to go. And that's because the turn 2 wall had some pretty significant damage. So they're working on repairing that. You see it there. The Vanguard safety team.
I think the wall once up at Bristol.
That's a big impact.
So it's possible. It happens. There you see the drivers getting some water from the safety team. There's the sucker punch truck. Isn't that nice when that shows up?
So nice when it shows up. And then we're so rude. We throw the water right out. Right when we're done, we don't wait for them to come back and throw it in the trash. We just litter and throw it on the ground. And
Let's take another look at the impact that led to this red flag.
They squeezed up into the outside wall. We see so many trucks getting loose down in the bottom. And, what happens is they fly back and get into the wall.
it's such a hot shape on the way he was going in. You see it's kind of straight and then tight diamond. And he's trying to side draft the 9 and kind of pull away, which ends up giving him a shallower entry and just has to put a lot of wheel. And the second you do, and the side draft or the side force comes off your truck, you have too much wheel and you're just not ready for it.
Watch this thing snap on him right there.
Yeah, right when he goes to add wheel, he's instantly trying to correct it back, and you're just already behind. You already got to be ready to go with your hands and already unwinding the wheel if you want to catch it. And you
Such-
got behind.
Such a helpless feeling when it goes wrong like that, because once it snaps, look at that impact. Back tires off of the ground.
So Ty Majeski is back in the garage. So is his teammate. Rhodes, who had the power steering issues earlier.
And Matt Crafton.
Yep, Matt Crafton. He had the dash catch fire. Stephen Malazzi is off and in the garage as well.
Having to weld that all back together.
Now, right here, this is what I was talking about just before. This is the 26, just going to be coming into your screen now. 26 and 81, hard in the outside wall, a little bit the 81, but this is where that 26 of Dawson Sutton's right front got cut down, and potentially why Connor Mozak got behind on his spotter or got behind on where exactly he was. Pitched those guys into 3, just trying to recover from getting into the wall again. I don't think anybody's gone higher than Connor Mozak for as many laps as he has so far.
Well, somebody pushed him up there in that case, because you can see the left side is kind of used up on that 81 Friends of
He
Jacqueline
somehow
Foundation
came out
truck.
of it okay, because the 26 ended up down pit road, and that was maybe the 26 getting loose under him, and he got loose under the 44. Connor Mozak came out okay on both ends of it so far.
Well, there's been a lot to stay on top of. Todd, what do you have?
Well, I'm here with Dylan Capello, Lane Rick's crew chief. Dylan, you got another fast hot rod there. That F-150 is looking pretty good, and your driver's wheeling the thing. We've seen him sideways a few times. What do you think you got for the end of this race?
Yeah, I think we got a good shot at it. The truck's been really good all day, we kind of chased it a little bit in practice and took our best guess at balance-wise where we're going to fire off here, and he's been pretty happy with it, so just some small adjustments away from where he was really comfortable, so I feel really good about it, and we'll see kind of how the race plays out here in the closing laps.
You see that little grin going? He's got something up his sleeve.
Yes, he does. Dylan Capello. I like it. He's a racer himself. He still goes around all these weekends off. He goes out there and gets it done himself.
Yeah, obviously super young, but seems like a real winner. Even when he goes and races, I remember seeing him win somewhere or another. But yeah, I mean, honestly, starting to turn into the guy that a lot of teams are fighting for or fighting against or keeping their eye on. They're able to do a lot with that 34 truck.
They want to be like Charles tonight and get that call to go cup racing. We'll step aside as we're continuing from a turn 2 wall.
Yeah, turn 2, it looks like the bottom 2 patches, I guess, of the 5 up near the wall. Looked like it just got bowed in a little bit. It's not the safer barrier itself that they're replacing, but the wall starting to come apart over there in turn 2 that safety officials wanted to take a deeper look at, and that's why we're under red flag following the Ty Majeski incident. Backed it up against the wall, overdriving the entry of the corner. Slipped out from underneath him. Pretty hard impact, obviously. Lifted the rear tires of the truck up off the ground, and now we're under red. Again, Chandler Smith is our current race leader, and he has led for 17 laps, all of which here in Stage 3 after starting second. Lane Riggs, who had won Stage 1 and Stage 2, has led for 24 laps today. Polson, 43 laps led for him. Cade Honeycutt with 12 laps led, 15 for Grant Enfinger. Quite a few lead changes, despite the fact we haven't seen a lot of tire fall off. We've had a lot of strategy put into place in this race to try to leapfrog in the track position running order. Passes on restarts, with that being the case, and laps after the fact, drivers on fresh tires overtaking guys on old tires, even though there isn't a lot of tire fall off. A lot of that also, you got the faster trucks taking tires, slower trucks that maybe don't have the speed anyway, just trying to get whatever track position they can, even if they can't hold on to the lead, settle in somewhere higher than where they were running beforehand. Norman Timmons, Aston Michael, welcome to the stream. I don't think I shot at either of you guys out yet. Thanks for watching. It's a 0.96 mile track. It's 1 mile, roughly. 0.96, 1.0, 1.1. It's relatively the same. Yeah, we're not going to have to worry about sunset well over an hour yet. We only have 89 laps to go. A little bump in the road to get to the finish, but we'll get there eventually. I'd assume they don't have too much more repair to make on the turn 2 wall. While we're waiting out the red flag, as I mentioned that, it looks like we are back to caution. So red flag has been lifted. Very short. Kind of figured it'd be 10 minutes or less. Definitely seemed to be less.
Close in Carolina. Michael, you know something about this. Pinehurst, we're right up the street.
Yeah, it's such a wonderful part of the state of North Carolina. The Rockingham Speedway, just 20 miles away, Pinehurst, number 2, all the wonderful courses that are there. 2024 U.S. Open last year, Bryson DeChambeau got the win. And then I think you're going to see who the real winner is in this next picture.
Yeah.
Me and Miss Colleen playing a little golf down in Pinehurst and just enjoying some good times down there.
So beautiful.
It's just a perfect part of the world. Tranquil, peaceful, and then you go 20 miles up the road. We got race trucks going every which way.
Love to be here, especially this time of the year. It's beautiful. Carson, you don't strike me as a golfer.
No, what'd you shoot?
I shot a 79 on Wednesday. Thank you, Brandon Suggs.
Yeah, it's pretty good there,
I
Michael
think I was
Walter.
like 179 if I went pumping. So
You just drive 179. You leave the golf in.
Everything's working out just fine for you,
I
buddy.
got a high score and I thought it was good.
You're doing good here today. Happy to have you with us as well. They're working on the wall. The turn 2 wall got knocked out. You saw what happened, the big impact by the 98 of Ty Majeski. So they're working on that. Our pit reporters are covering all things. And we're back rolling. So that is a great sign. You know, the safer barrier was actually installed back in 2011. You see the repair right there. 2011, they installed that in order to get the truckers back to Rockingham.
Yeah, that's an innovation that many race car drivers and their families are so thankful that NASCAR invested in and made work. You know, a lot of people talk about the safety inside the truck, as you see here on board with Tyler Ankrum with the headrest and the head and neck restraint. But for me, the first time I ever hit a safer barrier and it didn't hurt, that was the biggest safety innovation in my world.
We're being told that the pits are open. And Michael, you talked about that this opens up that window. They could pit here and be done for the race.
And if I don't have track position, I'm definitely doing that right now. And I'm a little bit surprised. There's a lot of trucks that did take advantage of that because of the fact that we haven't seen the fall off in tires. And we've seen guys just get 2 tires and be able to outrun guys with 4 tires. So a lot of strategy going on right here. That's going to be good for our broadcast because you're going to have a lot of different guys going in different directions.
Yeah, the highest guy that came down pit road 6, Parker Kligerman. We've seen him take 2 tires all day long. Finally able to put 4 on it. Grant Enfinger, one of those, he was 9th, and the next were 13th on back. So a lot of mixture of guys, but all kind of towards the back. Or, you know, like Parker Kligerman, he needed a reason to be able to come in, take some tires.
Well, we saw that big impact by Ty Majeski. He's out of his truck and with Amanda.
Yeah, Jamie Ty Majeski here in reflection outside of the care center. We talked a little bit off camera about the video of your in-car and how the wheel snapped. What could you have done different, Ty?
Yeah, you know, obviously this place is narrow. Hard racing at the end. We were, you know, giving each other quite a bit of room early on, and then that room kind of goes away as we get to the last stage. And yeah, I can't really blame Grant. You know, he held me tight. Obviously took the air off my right side. Yeah, just embarrassed, honestly. This last 3 weeks really isn't who I am as a driver. Feel so bad for everybody at Thor Sport, Duke Ronda. Yeah, I just need to be better. So apologize to Soda Sense, and you know, they're a great partner, and we're gonna right the ship here. We got a lot of races left of the season, so obviously got right and really embarrassed myself. So need to right the ship here and on to Texas.
We'll see you in Texas, champ.
Thank you.
Yeah, and the champion taking this one hard. And we've seen this story before where he's down in the dumps, has a string of bad races, and then he turns it around. He did it last year, comes out and wins the championship.
Yeah, pretty honest and self-critical right there, obviously. But yeah, I mean, he works on the trucks himself. He's there. So we see the first 3 versus the last 3, obviously a big difference there. But you know, running up front at Martinsville and wreck leading, right? Or wreck battling for the lead and then end up wrecking here. You know, just a tough stretch of races that I'm sure they'll bounce back up. And these aren't their best tracks, right? Martinsville obviously really good, but when we get late into the year, those short tracks tend to, get 3 or 4 at a time, and that's really where they show up the best, and that's, where they're able to take advantage of it and build it on that momentum.
Chandler Smith chose the top as he got to the chew zone there. We're coming back to green flag. So we'll see him roll from the top, see if that works again. Daniel Hemrick on the front row with him.
Todd? Yeah, just go for this crew chief, Josh Graham, and last pit stop, they took right side tires, but Josh said they're 30 laps short on fuel. So you can expect them to get down again this race and probably only take 2 more tires. Because of that, you're not going to need a full tank of fuel.
Just a splash on Todd or half a tank of, and I'm really enjoying right now the differing strategies, and I'll really enjoy it when I see who had the right one, because there's definitely going to be a play that's going to make a difference in the outcome of this race.
Look who's lined up right behind the 19 of Tyler Ankrum. Corey Heim, and I just talked about, he hasn't led a lap yet. This is the best he has been. So what can he do here? As we'll wave the green flag once again with 85 laps to go at the Rock.
Green flag back in the air. Chandler Smith on the outside of row 1 is a controlled truck. Daniel Hemrick up towards the front of the field looking for his first lead of the race as he battles to the inside of the 38 through the first turn. As they work their way up off the exit of turn 2, Hemrick is close to clearing, slams the door shut, thought about it at least, on the middle of the back straightaway. Chandler rolls the outside very hard on entry. Hemrick on the bottom lane still, nose-to-nose for the lead as they cross the start-finish line. That lap was led by Chandler Smith by just 0.03 of a second. Very tight battle for the race lead still through turns 1 and 2. Hemrick's holding on strong on the inside. Obviously, the non-preferred lane on the outside for Chandler Smith, despite getting a slight bit better of a run down the straightaways. And as I say that, Corey Heim on the outside and in the dirty air wake behind the 38. As we got a wreck on the front stretch, a big one at that. Tanner Gray, Stuart Friesen took a minute for the Fox camera to pan back, but Friesen took a big hit to the rear of his race truck. And I think he had gotten up against the wall off turn 4 after contact with another race truck. I saw the incident happen on the corner of the screen, but it was hard to tell who it was until the full screen had panned to the middle of the wreck. 42, big hit for Matt Mills. There's no safer barrier on the front stretch outside wall, far enough up off the exit of turn 4. And with the damage to that 42 truck of Matt Mills, hopefully he is okay. That right front is crunched. 3-truck incident, it looks like. Matt Mills, Stuart Friesen, they're definitely going to be out of the race. Tanner Gray's got quite a bit of damage to the right side of his truck. See if he might be able to continue. Friesen is out of his truck under his own power. And he'll be walking down to the infield care center. Gray's unbuckling the seatbelts. He is done. Right front's actually more torn apart than it looked like initially for him. 82 laps to go, and we're under caution again, our 5th of the race. That looked like a way more violent hit that broke the wall over in turn 2 for these guys than what it was for Ty Majeski. Still waiting to see a replay of the incident.
The air is moving around. It's good to see everybody getting out. Obviously, a lot of hard hits. We're going to see a replay here. Let's take a look. Stuart Friesen on the bottom of your screen. That's going to be obviously who we're focusing on. The 42 of Matt Mills going to roll maybe to the right rear here. Stuart Friesen. Oh, it's Raja.
Raja got loose, and then he got pounded.
Yeah, nowhere to go, Stuart. Stuart got a tight moment, got stuck behind the 71 as he got free.
Clickerman
And
just gets
also,
around him.
Tyler Ankrum, just an amazing job of missing the spinning Stuart Friesen. Friesen had nothing he could have done about that. When Raja got loose,
well, when you're checking up, that's only going to make that dirty air worse. As you're lifting and getting the right front edge, it just happens so quick. It's already within the flash before your eyes. Just nothing Stuart could have done, nothing the 42 and Matt Mills could have done. But really nice work from everybody out back to avoid that, pick that up.
watch this again.
Just a big loose moment from Raja right there. And gosh, Tyler Ankrum did a really good job. Andres Perez in the dirt, realizing that, not panicking, turning right out of the grass. So you see Tanner Grace trying to keep the throttle down, just spinning around, stuck in the dirt. But Hunter Mosaic barely avoiding it again. And unfortunately, I mean, you could have involved 6-7 pretty good trucks here that have fuel to make it. That could be factors here. that could have had their night wiped out right here. Is why I'm more Tyler Ingram seeing what he sees. Could be a really
He's going to see a
close moment.
Watch this decision. Am I going
Wow.
right? He didn't have any idea what was ahead. He had to just make that split-second decision. Look at that.
Doing it for Dale.
That's awesome, Carson. Your jacket makes me so happy, and that uniform makes me so happy.
They know they're on.
That's awesome. That's
See the
great.
drivers involved in this most recent wreck. And it is red flagged for the second time
Man.
this race. A lot of fluid on the racetrack, a lot of cleanup. As that continues, we will step aside. So taking pictures with fans. I like it. It's awesome.
Well, I wasn't expecting this race to get close to darkness. Little did I know we had 2 red flags coming within, 8 laps apart from one another. Our first red flag at lap 111, this one at lap 118. 7-lap difference. Luckily, where the big hit took place for Friesen and Mills against the wall was against the area where there was safer barriers still towards the exit of turn 4. The second hit up against the outside wall for Matt Mills, that was against the unprotected concrete wall, but at a much slower rate after he had hit the wall moments before that. Basically turned up off the wall after initial contact, getting sandwiched there from the 52, and it spun back against it several hundred feet back down the front stretch a little further. So again, our second red flag. I want to talk about start-stop. These drivers are legitimately start-stopping the beginning portion of stage 3. Right at the edge of that fuel window. Talked about it here on the channel throughout the course of the race already. That the sundown locally is 7:54 Eastern. Which is still a little over an hour from now. I still would like to think that we're not going to be anywhere close to that. Or at least close to having to worry about getting done before darkness. Top 10 at the time of the second red flag of the race has Chandler Smith in the lead, Corey Hyman second, Daniel Hemrick third, Jake Garcia fourth, Lane Riggs in fifth, Caden Honeycutt is in sixth, seventh for Gio Ruggiero, Raja Karuth eighth, Connor Mosack ninth, Grant Enfinger rounds out the top 10. This red flag even quicker than the last. Looks like they're already back to caution right as they come back from the commercial break on Fox Sports 1. We'll take a quick break of our own while we still wait for them. You're listening live on KRC, Black's Tire 200 at Rockingham for the Craftsman Truck Series.
To the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series live from Rockingham. Jamie Little, Michael Waltrip, and Carson Hocevar with you. Todd Bodine and Amanda Busick covering things on pit road. Well, it's been an exciting race. There's been a lot to follow. The pits are open now, and we have some takers, Amanda.
Yeah, you see Chandler Smith come into his pit stall number 1 here at Rockingham. But he's just telling that team, I need better front turn.
19 Daniel Hamrick's coming in. Needs about 4 seconds of fuel, but I believe they're going to put tires on here. Last time in, they only took right side. Nope, fuel only.
You just really have to give it up for Goodyear. You know, they come to this new track and haven't been here in so many years, and they've built a tire that these teams can mix up the strategy with. They can take 2. They can just get gas only. I love this.
Yeah, big winner. Tires, no tires, fuel only. Interesting to note, though, Corey Heim didn't pit the first time and didn't pit again. Very interesting. He's going to be really light on fuel. Not sure the game plan here, but he's alone on his own island right now. But he's going to refire from the lead.
Got to go.
Yeah, Michael, you gave a shout out to Goodyear, and it was well deserved. These tires are really bulletproof, and right now you guys are talking about left sides. The only reason they need to put left sides on is to get a little grip back, maybe change the handling of their trucks. Wear is absolutely not an issue on either the left or the right, so great job, Goodyear.
Got that right.
What Goodyear brought here, the right side is the same that they ran at Darlington and Miami earlier this season, and the left side, same for Bristol last week. So they put it together and getting an attaboy all around.
What an interesting top five right here. You know, Andres Perez, Ruggiero, and Fingerheim. A lot of mix of strategy, but a lot of mix of new contenders and players.
Let's take a look now at what's around the turn. A lot more racing action. We talked about Fox being your home for it all. NASCAR from Talladega next Sunday, April 27th. That's at 2 Eastern. NHRA from Charlotte on Sunday, April 27th as well, following the Cup race.
What about our,
FS1.
what about our man Tony Stewart?
Oh my gosh.
Wins the top fuel. He wins in everything he does, and that's just a great story.
Saw IndyCar from Rockingham. What a beautiful
No
facility.
doubt. I'm really enjoying the IndyCar coverage on Fox.
So Corey Heim here leading for the first time today. Little bit of strategy. Gio Ruggiero, his teammate at Tricon, just behind him, Grant Enfinger. Last pitted on lap 112. You see the lap number that they last pitted on in your pylon.
Couple Toyotas leading the way. It's all been about Ford so much, pretty much all day. But here comes the Toyotas as the laps wind down.
Tyler Ingram, we just saw him avoid a big crash, and now all of a sudden he's fourth and lined up.
Look at his
second
day.
best. I mean, he's had all over the place. Started 16th, 23rd, 22nd, and now fourth. And the two guys in front, you know, can't make it. So, I mean, realistically, he's second. And then how about Andres Perez? Talked about him just learning all day long.
And
the 77 machine. Saw him in the grass a minute ago.
Great avoidance.
Now into the top five. Done a really good job so far. And just always tends to find himself in the right spot. Did the same thing at Martinsville, able to get a top five there, or a really good strong effort. And Daniel Hemrick, first one off pit road. We saw fuel only right here. 6 right now. That 19 truck starting to come into its own a little bit here. Not 100% perfect with the raw speed yet, but doing a really good job of keeping that truck up front.
There you see Caden Honeycutt in the 45 fast truck all day long. He's kept it up toward the front and will be a factor before this thing's over.
Chandler Smith just behind him, like 23 laps tonight. Certainly been a contender. One last week, trying to back it up with another win in a row as we see the choose right there.
Let's choose it up, Jamie.
And it looks like Heim likes the outside.
Harris takes the bottom. We always have the saying, winners choose front row. You know, granted, you want to be with your teammate at times, but Gio Ruggiero able to take the front row. We've seen the bottom win. Now 50% of the time so far. It's been hit or miss depending on the push. I really like Enfinger as a pusher. And that's, you know, as long as Ruggiero can get through the box and through the restart, I think that could be a good deal.
But watch that 17 truck of Ruggiero. We know how aggressive he is. We know he's a rookie and how inexperienced he is. He's in a bind right here. If he tries to get into turn one too deep, that thing could get loose. We've seen it happen before. It'd be interesting to see what the young racer is able to do.
Take a look at that damage, Michael, on that right rear quarter panel Ruggiero.
Some damage is good.
I was just saying, very rarely is damage good. That's exactly what they build these trucks for, that when it hits the back bumper and flares that right rear fender out, that's exactly how they want. And there's a lot of rear side force that could help him out on this restart.
He's going
Right.
to need every bit of it, Jamie.
Here we go. The Toyota pace truck about ready to take that left. You see the 11 warming up his tires a little bit. The sun slowly going down here at Rockingham.
All right, Tricon Garage, front row. Corey Heim out in front for the first time today. Gets a great launch through the restart zone and will lead the field to the green here. Still early in stage 3. Bit of a checkup, and now 3 wide just in the back half of the top 5. Daniel Hemrick, Andres Perez, 38 of Chandler Smith to the outside of both trucks. Funneling down to 3 wide into 3 and 4, where we saw an incident earlier because of that. No incident this time by. We will complete a lap under green. 2 red flags in the span of about 7 laps apart from one another. The reason for the delayed length here for stage 3. Still 76 laps to go with Heim out in front of the field. Second place on the restart would be Gio Ruggiero, Tyler Ankrum 3rd, Grant Enfinger 4th. Chandler Smith is in 5th. Then you got Lane Riggs 6th. 7th for Andres Perez, Jake Garcia 8th, Daniel Hemrick 9th, and Caden Honeycutt rounding out the top 10. Garcia putting a battle for 7th place to Perez will complete the pass, and our pole sitter, who has still led the most laps of the race today, is trying to work himself back towards the front right now. Now, Corey Heim and Gio Ruggiero both stayed out of the pits during each of the 2 cautions we've seen for incident, which led to red flags again here in stage 3. So they may be short and or light on fuel to the end of the race if we do get a lot of green flag running to the finish. And it'll be interesting to see if they will have enough to make it to the end. And you got Tyler Ankrum, Grant Enfinger, Chandler Smith there just behind them, who should be good on fuel to the finish. Hoping that they can either get by the 2 trucks ahead of them or run green long enough to outmanage them on the fuel mileage. Here's Stuart Friesen following the infield care center trip.
Expected. Yeah, no, just big thanks to all my guys. Tried to go wide open, qualify, and kiss the wall, and they did a really good job putting it back together. It was just as fast all race as it ended practice, and was just trying to bide our time. I saw Raja get loose and tried to check up as much as I could, and got run over. So it just is what it is. I mean, I'll tell you, the last 2 weeks we've had really fast trucks, but it really makes me question if all this headaches even freaking worth it. It's what I want to do my whole real life, race at this level, and the top 2 series are not in my lifetime. So this is what I live and die for. Maybe just not.
That's hurt. He's a racer. He's probably going to race somewhere in New York or up in the Northeast tomorrow night, Sunday night. That's what he does, and it's what he loves. But that just tells you how passionate these guys are about what they get the opportunity to do. And when it goes bad, it just hurts, Jamie. It hurts that bad.
Well, just last month we were talking about him. He came so close to winning over Kyle Busch in Atlanta. He's had 3 top 10s this year. I felt like they've been off to a solid start, but like you said, he's just brokenhearted right now with this team just endured today.
It's passion and emotion right there. I think that a lot of it came out. He's going to go on to next week. He wins. I'm sure he has a little bit of a different mindset. I'm sure.
Winning makes everything better, doesn't it?
Corey Heim, 1/8 of a second lead built up over his teammate Gio Ruggiero, 2.5 seconds back to Ankrum in third, and then Enfinger 4.5 seconds back. It's the biggest increment between not only first, second, but first to third, first to fourth we've seen for any truck leading this race today. No surprises when the 11 of Corey Heim is the driver out in front. Again, this is the first time he's led. He started 15th. He was 5th and 6th at the end of the first 2 stages, so he did collect 11 stage points today. Not as many as some of the other drivers who out-qualified him, but still relatively good points today for our current points leader, and trying to extend that lead exiting the race if he can get this win in comparison to those running just behind him. Chandler Smith did outscore him in the stages by a couple points altogether, though he is, back in 5th. And again, Ruggiero and Heim did not pit during either of the 2 cautions we've seen so far for incident in Stage 3. We're on the 45th lap of Stage 3, not all of which obviously under green, as I just mentioned. Still about 75 laps to go from where we are right now. A lot of action remains around this roughly 1-mile racetrack here in southern North Carolina. Battle for position going on between Brandon Jones and Raja Caruth. That battle's for 13th. Really, it's a 3-way battle for 12th because Jack Wood is not that much further right in front of both of these 2. Brandon Jones and Sammy Smith, both Xfinity Series regulars, running double duty on this Rockingham standalone event for the Truck and Xfinity Series. I believe they are the only 2 drivers running both races. Matt Craftsman, after having the fire earlier in the dash inside the cockpit of the race car, is back on the racetrack 41 laps down. He did pass his teammate Ben Rhodes in the running order and can also get by the 3 drivers who just exited from the race during the last crash of Stuart Friesen, Tanner Gray, and Matt Mills. I did see during the first red flag that I haven't noted yet, Bob Pockrass on X had put out a post. Obviously, he's at the racetrack here this weekend, but put out a post that I believe it was Justin Carroll who was parked by NASCAR when he did for failing to meet minimum speed, and also Frankie Muniz. Reason why he's 18 laps down, he had to park it for the team to make several adjustments to get the truck faster. And Muniz is back on track and has met minimum speed as of late in 25th, 19 laps down. Justin Carroll still off the racetrack in 34th, though, is where he runs 106 laps down in the garage. Another commercial break on Fox Sports 1 with 61 laps remaining here at the North Carolina Speedway, a.k.a. Rockingham, a.k.a. The Rock, for today's NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Black's Tire 200. And again, tomorrow's Xfinity race right here on the channel, full live flag-to-flag coverage again. 4 p.m. Eastern, we will go live again, Xfinity Series racing tomorrow evening. Overdrive Entertainment Management, thanks for tuning in. How's Raja doing? He's still up in the, he's in 13th right now. He had a big moment, if I can spit it out. He had a big moment off of turn 4, which sparked the last incident. Reason had gotten into the back of him. I don't think there's too much damage on the rear of his race truck, but he hasn't really been running in the top 10 for most of this one. Pretty much about where he is right now is where he's been for most of the race. It's right in the back half of the top 10. I guess he lost a couple of spots from the incident, but still in the lead lap, which is big. Only 16 trucks, surprisingly, are on the lead lap in this one. A lot of trucks that were on the lead lap that had pretty decent equipment today have already wrecked out or had mechanical issues, like Craftsman and Majeski, Rhodes. For Thorsport, then that Friesen Gray and Mills battle, again, they were all right around the top 10 as well. 56 laps to go. Corey Heim is cooking the field right now. Gio Ruggiero is putting up some pretty good laps, so all things considered. And as the leaders work their way through lap traffic, Ruggiero trading lap times back and forth with his teammate Heim. Later fuel load, I wonder, is the difference there and the reason why we can see both of those trucks running the lap times of the speed they are running, considering they didn't pit and there isn't really any tire fall off. Fastest laps of the race for both Heim and Ruggiero were on this last restart on older tires, lap 127 and 129. Even Ackerman third, his fastest lap was at lap 130 within the last 15 laps. I'll let you listen into more of the broadcast coverage from Jamie Little, Carson Hocevar, Michael Waltrip in the FS1 booth. Until then, we'll take a quick break of our own. You're listening live on KRC to the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Black's Tire 200 at Rockingham.
Back to Rockingham as Corey Heim continues to lead as we have 54 laps to go in our return to the Rock. 12 years, fellas. We're back here racing. It's a beautiful.
We're at the Rock. The Rock's probably going to be at WrestleMania tomorrow.
We talked at the beginning of the show about strategy.
Fitting weekend.
Because these wonderful Goodyear tires. When do you get gas? When do you get tires? And it's all playing out just like that. I'm so intrigued about what Corey Heim, Gio Ruggiero are going to be able to do. They're going to run out of gas. They can't make it. They got to be a solid 10 lap short. Does that put Tyler Ankrum, Chandler Smith in the driver's seat? Tom Bodine, what's the report from down yonder?
Well, Carson, I think you have got a future as a crew chief. You hit it right on the head. They just, right after you talked about Tyler Ankrum, they just told him, look, we are not racing these two guys in front of you. I need you to lift a little bit early on the straightaway and squeeze the throttle slow and exit. All we need is a couple of laps of fuel.
You could get that, right, Carson?
Yeah, you could get that. You can't get the 10 so laps. Right here, you see the truck ahead. That's Tony Breidinger, lap truck right there. But clean racetrack right now. That's going to help him be able to not have to overwork those tires, not have to do anything. This is basically your winner of the race if this goes green and nobody catches him, right? This is the battle for the win. We're not really focused on the 11 17. Although, Corey Heim putting the pace he's doing right now, and he's like half a second faster in the field right now. Everybody could be saving it.
Yeah, he's quick.
But he's now has 14 trucks on the lead lap. That's really important. The yellow comes out because that's going to help him later in the race. If that yellow does come out, not have to go so far back. So there's still a lot of opportunity for the 11 and 17, but they're going to need that yellow.
Chandler Smith has something to say about Ankrum being the guy that's going to win the race. He's faster than Chandler right now, than Ankrum. Chandler Smith is running him down, and he's got a little bit more cushion, 7 more laps of cushion on his fuel tank. So keep your eye on number 38 again this weekend.
$14 trucks now down on the lead lap.
If that yellow does come out, not have to go so far back. So there's still a lot of opportunity.
Corey Heim looking like Kyle Larson out there.
You're going to need that yellow.
Chandler Smith has something to say about Ankrum being the guy that's going to win the race. He's faster than Chandler right now, than Ankrum. Chandler Smith is running him down, and he's got a little bit more cushion, 7 more laps of cushion on his fuel tank. So keep your eye on number 38 again this weekend.
So coming in, we talked about the fuel window being between 80 to 82 laps. So right now they're looking at Tyler Ankrum stretching it to 88. So he needs a little bit of help, like you talked about, backing it down, doing all the things.
But they don't ever tell you the truth. They tell you 80 to 82 or 3, and they probably are thinking more like 88 to 92. So he's got to feel okay about it.
Luckily, a few of those laps were under yellow that he got to hopefully save and do everything. And, you know, when he catches a lap truck down the straightaway, hopefully he's using the draft correctly and lifting a little bit, not running those RPMs too hard. And, you know, there's so many things he could do. Lift a little earlier, squeeze the throttle a little bit. And he knows defense is important, but he can't let, you know, he's got a 1.6 something lead right now to Chandler Smith. That's an important gap, because he can't let him get too close, get in that draft, and then start having a race. He's got to be able to save fuel now and have it later when they can go.
See it right there in the pylon, last pit lap. 94 for Corey Heim and Gio Ruggiero. Behind him, Tyler Ankrum is who we're talking about. Chandler Smith right behind him, last pitted on lap 119. So a little bit more to the good.
Big report from pit road, Jamie, that this truck can go about 20 more laps. Be looking for a caution between now and then to get to pit road, because if there isn't, it's going to be
Uphill battle.
game changer for this team. And as you spoke about Chandler Smith's little over a second deficit, well, he shrunk that. He's got it down under a second now.
Well, this could have been the yellow at one point for how aggressive everybody's being right back here. A few guys on different laps and different strategies. You see Rajah Cruz on the bottom there, currently in the 12th spot. But yeah, just very interesting strategy from the 11 and 17. Like, I just don't, I'm a little bit confused of, you know, it just seems like a really high risk for a little bit of reward of just having a miracle caution come when you need it, or a few cautions even. For how good that 11 truck is, you know, it just could be a really big missed opportunity of a race winning day if it doesn't work out this way.
Corey Heim just continues putting down fast lap after fast lap, not backing down at all.
Maybe he's trying to build a gap
No,
and then
not at
save
all.
late.
Super fast, the 23, 26 compared to the next best in the 40s, next best in the 60s.
Because he's got 9 seconds to the third place truck, who would be the first driver for sure good on fuel.
Because he could lap all the way to 10th before he pits, but the hourglass is running out very, very quickly. You see, even in traffic, running super, super competitive lap times, you know, stronger than the field, even in traffic. But, man, that hourglass is slowly running out, or very quickly running out, I should say.
What a great handling truck. We knew he'd be part of the story, Jamie. We thought the biggest story of the day was the fact that he qualified poorly, because we knew that he would race into contention. And a guy that qualified great, Jake Garcia, getting another position, that time off Grant Enfinger. He's up to the 6th spot.
Yeah, Garcia in 6th, but when those two pit, he's going to be in that 4th position. Really strong day for that 13, having a career day, in my opinion, the best we've seen him run. And with all his, you know, teammates having misfortune, right, to be able to be the guy. I think if you pick one ThorSport truck to have the best day here, I'm not sure if Garcia would have been the name a lot of people would have said, and really proven those everybody here that he could drive a racetrack pretty good.
And if you do it at a place like Rockingham, I mean, this
So
tough racetrack, that's just really, really an impressive run that he's having, being able to keep that truck so fast. Look at him driving the heck out of it. A little bit loose there as he laps Timmy Hill. But last time by, he was the fastest truck on the track, was this 13 of Jake Garcia.
Guys, we talk about Corey Heim and running up front. He has 2 wins this year, but arguably he could have 4 wins right now. He was heartbreak a couple times. Michael, let's take a look back here. This was Homestead. He's leading the field. Kyle Larson's in there, and his truck starts shutting off.
And it shut off a couple of times, and he still was going to win the race. But the 3rd time, it fit him, and he was just like, what else are we going to do? And then Martinsville, dominant truck, flat tire late after some contact in the outside wall. So that's he's what, 2? That's another 2 that were his races because he was that strong.
And now you got here, right? Like leading the race, strong truck. He wasn't strong early, but obviously able to have a monster pace out front right now. 2.2 on his teammate and 9.7 seconds on 3rd in the rest of the field. And we're talking as if, you know, he's needing a miracle almost, or a very, very timed caution. And we're not just saying, man, look at that 11 go off into the sunset.
Well, he's now led the most laps in this race, 45 and counting. The question is, when will Corey Heim come into pit?
He's backed off a little bit because he had 3 seconds on Gio Ruggiero, and now it's 1.8.
I think he's stepped back on it because the last couple of laps he's been able to put some more distance between he and Chandler. So that's good for this 18 team. He's on quite the winless streak since his win at Kentucky. It's been 130 races.
Wow.
Kentucky in 019 was his last win.
Oh,
He's
19.
hungry.
Do you remember how he won that race? Fuel mileage.
Yeah.
A little bit. Some sort of similar story here. So he knows how to get it done when fuel seems to matter. So hopefully he's doing everything right inside that truck, because it's been a while since he's been in a contention to win and currently leading on his cycle.
Hey, 4 top 5 finishes for this driver right here. Really clicking.
Oh,
That's
not gonna help.
Matt Craftsman on the track. His issues earlier. His dash was on fire, yet he's still out there clicking laps off.
That puts Chandler within a second right here. You know, this is your gap right there into your screen. That white truck at the 38 now into the equation, and all Tyler Income's crew, I'm sure they're watching. They're not watching out front. They're not watching any other truck except the truck we're watching on our TV monitors right now.
There you see the battle that could very well be for the win of this race if the caution doesn't fly. That's a pretty big if, though. We've talked about how tight things are and how tough this track is. Don't think that a caution isn't out of the question.
Well, Corey Heim just put Connor Bozek a lap down, so we're back to 13 trucks on the lead lap. All but gonna lap the Jack Wood here in a lap or two, so that'll put 12 on the lead lap. So if that yellow does come out, he'll be coming down pit road with new tires. You know, one really good restart. You know, he kind of gets into the top 10. He wouldn't be out of it by any question, by any means, but they're going to need it now or really quickly, because, you know, he's just going to need all the laps he can get when that restart does happen.
Michael, don't you say hope is a strategy?
It is, and we're hoping right now. We're hoping for a caution. We're hoping for it really soon because our low fuel light is on. We know we're running really low on fuel, and just got to have it needs a break here if he's going to win the race. Because as Parson said, the caution flies now. I think he still can win the race. Think about this. We talk about how the tires don't fall off much. Well, they're running around a 32.5-second lap now. They were all the way down, or excuse me, a 23.5-second lap now. They were down in the 2290s on fresh tires. So they will make a difference now that they have this many laps on their tires.
I mean, we're hoping, right? You see the 11 crew getting ready to go at any moment they call him down pit road. But we've talked about the truck racing being so clean. There's so many consecutive. Now,
Here he comes.
Here comes down pit road, the 11 truck down pit road right now. Going to relinquish the lead to Gio Ruggiero.
And Gio Ruggiero, it's just a matter of time for him. He's on the same strategy. 29 laps to go here at Rockingham. The leader is pitting. Corey Heim gets the countdown. Todd?
Yeah, unfortunately, that hourglass ran out for Corey Heim. Loves his truck, no adjustments, just 4 tires and fuel.
There come the tire.
I am really shocked they put tires on. I would have figured they maybe would put
Fuel only to keep him on the lead lap.
and trying to make that stop as slow as possible. You'll see 2 as he rolls off. Gio Ruggiero going to be down pit road as well. Tyler Ankrum now to the lead, and now we get to see the battle we've been talking about.
This could play out just as you guys have been talking about. What a moment it would be for Tyler Ankrum. It's been a long time, Michael. You just mentioned it, 130 truck races.
That truck is as good as it's been all day. You could see Tyler really hugging the bottom of the racetrack. Last time by, he beat Chandler. They ran about the same lap time, but Chandler's down by a second and a tenth.
So if you're Tyler Ankrum spotter here, all you're going to be wanting to say is lap times. I'm sure, I mean, every driver's different. Everybody wants their different preference. But right here, you're just trying to match lap times. You're trying to give your driver confidence. You're saying your lap time chasing you is just, you know, he just picked it up, but so did Chandler. All right, 51 to a 52. That's right now the speed. 100th better advantage to Ankrum. You're just reminding him. You're pumping him up, giving him the biggest confidence you can. You're 26 laps, 26 qualifying laps. That's all I need from you. And we just can't give up 1.1 seconds. We can give up 100th here and there. We just can't make a big mistake behind lap traffic and give up 6/10 and bring it to us. Bring it to us.
You know, this is a big moment, and if he wins, even bigger, obviously. But talking to Tyler Ankrum, and he talks about, you know, what it meant for Christian Eckes to move on, move up to the Xfinity Series. They lost Charles tonight, the crew chief. He goes cup racing with Bubba. He said, we've lost a lot of people at our team. Yet we bring in Daniel Hemrick. We have to rebuild the 19. He said, we thought maybe we'd be behind because it's hard to find people that want to come in and work at this level. But they did, and they haven't skipped a beat. We talked about how good he's been. You see Corey Heim back on track, slicing and dicing, trying to make up some time.
It's a lap down, Jamie, so he's got a lot.
First car one lap down though, so he's 13th, but
Got a long way to go though, and 24 laps to get it done. That's not a lot of time, but just setting that story for McAnally Hilgeman Racing and what they've been able to accomplish this year.
It's not an impressive run for Andres Perez. In the 6th position, we talked about how tough this racetrack is. It's got to be a real motivating feeling for him right now to be able to get out there and mix it up and put himself in a position to race for a top 5 finish here.
yeah, he does a really good job at something that's really hard to teach at a young age. Is just be there at the end, somehow get there. But it doesn't matter what. Just keep your truck in good tack. Be able to avoid wrecks like he did, but just be smart. Just be able to complete all the laps and be there at the end and take advantage and be able to run good laps when it matters. And that's what he's been able to do at multiple different tracks. And he's starting to see the results pay out and doing it again here at a really, really difficult racetrack.
Andres Perez, the Arkansas
look out.
champion last year, doing a really nice job from Mexico City, Mexico. He was a truck champion down there. Been racing full time here in America, having the race of his career today.
I think so, and it's impressive to do it here at Rockingham.
Ankrum ran a 10th better than Chandler right there. Able to run a 6.0 to a 71.
As the leader crosses the line, we've reached our Craftsman. 20 to go. Tyler Ankrum leads Chandler Smith.
And Tyler Ankrum, Jamie, is saying, no caution, no caution. No, I don't want to see a caution. I've got this thing in the back. He's been able to put about a second more on Chandler Smith, who's chasing him, and just running really smooth lap times. Right where he wants to be right now, as that sun's beginning to set here at Rockingham.
As we count down the laps to the end of this one, 19 laps to go. We're going to step aside. You won't miss a thing as we go side by side.
All right, 2-second lead built up for Tyler Ankrum over Chandler Smith in the running order. As we get down towards the finish of this race, we'll go through the full field leaderboard here with under 20 to go. With Chandler Smith in second, Lane Riggs sits in third, Jake Garcia fourth, Grant Enfinger rounds out the top 5, Andres Perez is in sixth, Daniel Hemrick 7th, Caden Honeycutt 8th, Raja Caruth 9th, Sammy Smith is 10th. 11th for Jack Wood, Connor Mosack 12th is the last truck in the lead lap. Corey Heim first truck a lap down, and 13th made the green flag pit stop because of staying out of the pits during the last couple of cautions. 14th on the same strategy as Heim is his teammate Gio Ruggiero. Then you got Nathan Burden 15th, Spencer Boyd 16th, Brandon Jones 17th, Tony Breidinger 18th, Dawson Sutton 19th, and Timmy Hill 20th. Bailey Curry 21st, Corey Day 22nd, Frankie Muniz 23rd. And then Parker Kligerman on back out of the race here, 24th for Parker Kligerman. Crafted, I guess, back on the racetrack, but 42 laps down after electrical problem earlier. His teammate Luke Fenhouse, 49 laps down, 26. Tanner Gray out of the race, 27th. Sturp Reason, 28th. Matt Mills, 29th. 30th for Cody Dennison. Ty Majeski, 31st. Ben Rhodes, 32nd. Stefan Malozzi, 33rd. Justin Carroll, 34th. Norm Benning, 35th. A lot of trucks off or out of this racetrack. As of right now, almost half the field having some sort of an issue. About 5 trucks less than half the field have had a problem at some point today. Despite that being the case, there's only been 5 cautions and only 3 for incident, but we did have 2 red flags here in stage 3. 13 laps to go. Chandler Smith is closing in on Tyler Ankrum. Lead is cut down to just 1 second. When they initially cut the commercial with about 19 laps to go, it was a 2-second advantage. So through lap traffic and in the late going of the race, Chandler Smith pushing hard. Andres Perez on pit road.
Andres Perez had to come down pit road for a splash and go. Was knocking on the door for his first top 5.
Yeah, it's hard.
So Perez pits from inside the top 10. Third driver to have to hit pit road in the closing 25 laps of the race because of being short on fuel. And maybe that is why Chandler Smith is starting to run down Tyler Ankrum. Maybe Ankrum's having to save a little bit more gas Smith pushing hard. Only 10 trucks on the lead lap now. Connor Mosak is the first driver, 1 lap down. The lead was down to a second. Now it's 1.7. 10 laps left for Tyler Ankrum. It's been 130 races since Tyler Ankrum's last win in the Craftsman Truck Series, Kentucky Speedway 2019. Tells you how long it's been. We don't even race at Kentucky anymore. Oh, man. And as Carson Hocevar stated on the broadcast already, it was a fuel mileage win. And here we are in a fuel mileage race at Rockingham 6 years later. Ankrum trying to get it done again. Who would have thought at that point it'd be this long in between wins for Ankrum, but still being in the Truck Series all that time. Extending his lead again, so maybe he wasn't saving fuel. 8 laps to go. Still got to hope that he's got enough, because you just don't know with the few drivers we have seen hit pit road. I don't think we would have expected to see the 77 into the pits when he did, but he came on down. Team expected they were way short, tried to pit as early as they could, splash and go, and now Perez is 13th and currently 2 laps down. 9 trucks are on the lead lap. There's a battle for second going on between the Front Row Motorsport Fords of Chandler Smith and Lane Riggs. They're within a half a second of one another. Riggs is running down the 38. Last lap, Ankrum was still the quickest of those inside the top 5. And Jake Garcia running slightly better lap times on the second and third place trucks ahead of him, though Garcia's 4.5 seconds off the lead and about 2 seconds behind Riggs and Smith. 6 laps to go for Tyler Ankrum, just hoping it stays green and hoping he's got enough fuel in the tank to make it to the finish. Oh, Lane Riggs is coming in from third. He's short.
I saw pit road 119. That's 7 laps
Wow.
after Tyler Ankrum.
Well, we saw Sammy Smith.
I don't think anybody's safe at this point. We're seeing guys hit pit road that we weren't expecting and still well short of the white flag. 4 to go this time by. So Lane Riggs not going to make it from third. And now we only have 8 trucks on the lead lap by the time he cycles off. This could cycle all the way back to Corey Heim. Heim's in 10th. About to be 9th. First truck a lap down. Sarcastic about that, of course. I don't think it's actually going to cycle back to Corey Heim, but only 8 trucks remain on the lead lap and on fumes to try to make it to the finish. Chandler Smith, his teammate who would have pitted the same lap, is still out there in second, but he's 4.5 seconds off the lead, and he's backed his pace down a ton trying to make it to the end, because he was just 1 second off the lead not that long ago, and he's stumbling. I think Chandler Smith might be out of gas. Down the back straightaway, he stays out through 3 and 4. He's very slow. He's shaking the truck back and forth, trying to get fuel pickup back in the cell. It's just a 1 mile racetrack, but he's definitely off the pace. Jake Garcia is going to get by him for second. Panning back to the race leader now as he's getting passed by trucks all over the racetrack. His gap to second is 7.5 seconds. White flag is in the air. 1 lap to go for Tyler Ankrum. Can Ankrum make it on fuel to the end? He is coasting. He's got a big gap back to Garcia. Less than a half mile to go. He's going to get there. He can coast it from here. Checkered flag is waving. First time in 6 years. Tyler Ankrum has won a Craftsman Truck Series race as he wins the Blacks Tire 200 at North Carolina Speedway. Jake Garcia with a second place run. Grant Enfinger in third. Enfinger might have ran out of gas coming to the finish as well, because he lost 2 spots on the last lap, but does still get a top 5 finish. So it was actually Daniel Hemrick finishing third behind Garcia second and Ankrum first. Raja Karuth fourth, then Enfinger coasting into the finish line, 12 seconds off the lead in fifth. Caden Honeycutt 6th, Jack Wood 7th were the only trucks to finish on the lead lap today. Corey Hyman 8th, Connor Mosak, 9, Gio Ruggiero rounds out our top 10. Both Thor Sport trucks were second and third. And running out of gas in the closing laps, it's Riggs finishing 11th. And it looks like Chandler Smith in 13th. Andres Perez sandwiched between them in 12th. Also had to pit late because of running out of fuel towards the end. Nathan Bird, 14th. Spencer Boyd, 15th. Sammy Smith in 16th. Brandon Jones in 17th. Tony Breidinger, 18th. Dawson Sutton, 19th. Bailey Curry rounds out the top 20. Timmy Hill in 21st. Corey Day, 22nd. Frankie Muniz, 23rd. Matt Crafton, 24th. Parker Kligerman, 25th. Luke Fenhouse, 26th. Cody Dennison, 27th. Tanner Gray, 28th. Stuart Friesen, 29th. Matt Mills in 30th. 31st for Ty Majeski. Ben Rhodes, 32nd. Stefan Malozzi, 33rd. Justin Carroll, 34th. Norm Benny rounds out our 35-truck field. 10 trucks DNF'd in this one. Again, only 7 on the lead lap at the finish. 5 cautions, 11 lead changes, 33 laps under yellow, and we finished under our regulation length of 200 laps, just less than 200 miles. 1 hour, 49 minutes, 36 seconds total laps time on the race, not including the 2 red flags we had, which were both in Stage 3. Those were the only 2 cautions for incident in Stage 3, and the only other incidental caution was way back at lap 2 before that. And of course, the stage yellows at lap 90 and lap 45 made up the 5 cautions in total. 6.6 second margin of victory for our race winner, Tyler Ankrum, who again will snap a 130 race Truck Series winless streak. He led 29 laps en route to a fuel mileage finish, just as he did at Kentucky in his last win in 2019. 43 laps led for our pole sitter, Jake Garcia. He led the most laps today. Not sure who got the Xfinity fastest lap of the race. I'll be looking through the leaderboard to find that out as we get our interview with Tyler Ankrum. He's coming back in the truck for now, so we might not actually be getting that interview until he gets to victory lane. Looks like we're going to do it the old-fashioned way.
In victory lane, at the Rock of all places, how often?
There's more.
Still more. I've given up trying to predict when that truck's going to be out of fuel.
That is really impressive. 10th career win for McAnally Hilgeman Racing. Is he going to just drive it to victory lane?
I believe so.
We need to do the front stretch interview.
Todd's probably down there running around trying to catch up with him. Amanda, somebody.
We'll have our reporter ready for him.
A lot of McAnally guys giving him a high five. That's awesome to see. It's so great that we picked the winner of the race to put our in-car camera in so we could get this ride along with him.
Look at him shading his eyes from that sun setting here in Rockingham.
Well, Ankrum obviously super impressive, but I don't know if there's anybody more impressive to me than Jake Garcia this whole week, this whole day, especially that truck was super, super strong. He did a great job. You see Daniel Hemrick there, able to win in Martinsville, and then now third. Really strong day also for him.
Jake Garcia matched his career best finish with his second, led 43 laps.
Roger there interviewing with a top 5 finish. Good run for him. Grant Enfinger.
Just waiting on the broadcast to catch up with Tyler Ankrum. Skipped the front stretch interview. He headed straight for victory lane. He might have places to be. He's going to be doing the hat dance here pretty soon, so I don't think he's going to be getting there very quickly. Tim Fowler, welcome to the stream. I don't think I shouted you out. See you in the chat there throughout the late going to the race, as well as anybody else who I did not shout out through the entirety of this stream today. If you're still watching, thank you for watching. Be sure to hit the like button if you haven't done so yet. We did get to our like goal of 50, and as we stand right now, we're currently at 58. Subscribe for more daily NASCAR content along the way as well. Road to 6K. Here's Corey Heim, who ran out of gas late, comes home 8th.
Yeah, just, I don't know. Thought we were really, really good all day. Had a really good Tundra Judy Pro. Huge thank you to Toyota and Safe Flight for all their efforts check on garage. Yeah, I felt like if we had the track position, we would have been in really good shape from the very start. Just didn't have a good qualifying effort on my end and kind of was an uphill battle all day. So I didn't exactly know what was going on the last 40 laps there. I just know we pit and seems like our guys were able to make it on fuel. So just unfortunate. I mean, I feel like it's kind of a weird deal there in the last stage. Just got to be better on my part to qualify better and have the track position. So once again, huge thank you to Truck and Garage, Safe Flight Toyota for all their efforts.
Thank you, Corey.
I think Aker ran out of gas and the pit crew is pushing him back to the front stretch for the interview. Why couldn't they just catch up with him in victory lane at this point? He was already on the way there. Oh, maybe victory lane's on the front stretch. I don't know. It must be. I don't know. I don't know how they're doing it at Rockingham nowadays. Maybe it's on the front stretch. They got a banner up there like it might be on the front stretch. Yeah, I don't think Tabo Dime is going to be willing to chase him around anywhere. I did see somebody else in the chat going back through this. Thomas Goldfinch, welcome to the stream, also mentioning last win for Ankrum since Kentucky. All right, Tabo Dime finally caught up with our race winner. Here he is, Tyler Ankrum.
Picture
Yeah,
button.
Jamie. Tyler made me chase them all around this garage area, the pit road. But I chased you, I chased you all the way around the track to get this interview. Great. I don't know, it's strange. Well, it's strange. I didn't know where victory lane was at. But no, it's I can't thank these guys enough for the way this day started and going a lap down and Mark making the pit call to get the track position back and just saving fuel, man. It was just coming with 6 to go. I was like, I knew that was the number. I knew we were 5 short. I was hoping I saved enough, and we did. What were you thinking? I know as a race car driver to go through that, thinking about this gas thing. What were you thinking, and how did you save so much fuel? I mean, I know being 5-6 laps short, it's 6 miles, 5-6 miles. So you just got to be able to give up everything. But I just found something there where I was pretty much lifting about 60% down the straightaway, but I was able to draft off to Craftsman and a couple of other guys, and I was just able to save that way. I mean, it's just, I don't know, it's surreal. I feel like this is pretty much how it went down in Kentucky in 2019. But here we are now with a freaking check. Another 50,000, Tyler Ankrum, second win of the career right here at the Rock. Jamie?
Love it. So much emotion. You mentioned it. He wins the trip. He gets that $50,000 bonus.
Thank you.
Mom in there.
I guarantee you, Jamie, he wasn't even thinking about it until he saw that check, and you see 50 grand extra. That's a bonus for this team, and just a bonus when you take a victory in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series.
Cool win today here for Tyler Ankrum, to say the least. Definitely not an everyday win. 6 years since the last one for him. Came into the day sitting in the 4th place in the point standings. He'll close that gap a little bit. Might be able to pick up a spot on Majeski, who ended up DNFing today as well. So Chandler Smith running out of gas late. Maybe there's a chance he slides up closer to second. Great start to the season, though, for Ankrum, and now he's got a win to go with it. He is locked into the playoffs. After all, with that being said, he's got 5 playoff points to go along the way. Congratulations to Tyler Ankrum for getting the win. Be sure to hit the like button on the stream if you haven't done so yet. Subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. We'll be back again tomorrow afternoon for the NASCAR Xfinity Series race, which will begin at 4 p.m. Eastern with our coverage there. Cup Series is off this weekend, and then we'll be back at it again for Saturday's coverage all day next week at Talladega Superspeedway with practice qualifying for the Cup Series in the morning, ARCA, Xfinity in the afternoon. Then I will be immediately on the road after the fact to Talladega Superspeedway for the Cup race. We'll have race highlights from the grandstands there. So packed weekend next week on the channel, but as for this week, very short in the lead up to that. Excuse me. And we will be back again tomorrow. Again, thanks all. Have a good night. Hit the subscribe button. We're very close to 6,000. I was going to check that, and then we led into the Ankrum interview. We got 40 to go. And 40 more subscribers to go to get to 6,000. Yep, that is going to be it for me here today. Have a good rest of your Friday night, everybody. See you tomorrow.